title she's been looking for. Emotion spilling out now. A huge crash, bikes flying everywhere. He beats the world record yet again, and the fans are all on their feet.
Hello and welcome to day 2 of the 2019 UCI Track Cycling World Championships presented by Tissot. We're here once again at the Pruszkow Arena and we're about to get underway with competition on this second evening session of racing. You inside the velodrome here, the flags of the nations, the 48 nations who are competing at these World Championships. 451 athletes producing the very best performance they can, hoping for the title of World Champion. Our view down into the track centre, and riders preparing themselves for the competition this evening. We will have 4 finals during the course of the racing. Let's see, 4 world champions. Will there be new ones and existing title holders take away another rainbow jersey and set of gold medals? It's all to play for in the next couple of hours, and we're glad to have your company. You see the riders just making the last few moments of preparation down there in the track centre. The last opportunity to warm up for the first event on the track, the women's team pursuit first round, which began yesterday. Even the youngest spectators looking forward to a great night's action here in the Pruszkow Arena. The fans also have been streaming in during the course of the day. Many nations, of course, represented amongst the fans as well as the riders, and they get very vocal and very enthusiastic to cheer on all of the riders here. The bikes also being prepared, the last-minute polishing. Riders also just showing how they're feeling as well. It's all about this World Championship. Of course, it's the pinnacle of the riders' season, and of course, just a year out from the Olympic Games. Riders honing their form ahead of that as well. There's our lineup of the World UCI officials who will be looking after the fair play in the racing here this evening. And they're just having a little chat down there at trackside just before they too get themselves into the right frame of mind. Our friends from Tissot, our presenting partners who produce all of our results, looking over the computers and the timing equipment. And you can follow along with the action with us here during the course of our live coverage here of this evening's session of racing. The pads being brought out onto trackside for the first event, one of the timed events we have this evening, the women's team pursuit first round. The competition began with the qualification rounds yesterday, but we'll head towards the culmination of this competition and the awarding of the medals during the course of this evening's session of racing. Riders with the headphones just to get the tunes and just to focus the mind, really. And using the static trainers just to get the legs warmed up, get the muscles in absolute top form. And of course, the World Championships is definitely the place you need to bring your best form to the track. There's some stats about our arena Pruszkow velodrome here. Siberian pine is the surface, 250 metres, of course, as are most Olympic standard tracks these days. And it's a comfortable 24 degrees Celsius inside the track this evening. Relatively humid, not too bad. And it's been a very pleasant day outside in Poland once again today, early spring. So we'll be looking at some particular favourite riders during the course of the racing this evening. Of course, we said 48 nations represented. We've got the final of the men's and women's team pursuits. There's YG Lee, who'll be taking the start in the Keirin a little bit later, the rider from Hong Kong, China. Just reading the final instructions on how to ride the Keirin. I'm not quite sure what all that's about, but it's part of her training regime, I'm quite sure. For Australia, well, there's Stephanie Morton, of course, silver medalist in the World Sprint Championships last year. 28 years of age now is Stephanie Morton. And she also took, of course, the team sprint title here yesterday as part of that Australian team sprint winning squad. So she'll be looking for another great performance here in the Keirin. And she did well in the World Cup as well, taking victory in the Round Cup World in Berlin. Speaking of riders who bring a real incredible form to these championships, Katie Archibald, who excels at pretty much every discipline of cycling you could possibly think of. And of course, she will be part of the Great Britain team in the women's team pursuit here this evening. They'll be looking to try and take that title if they possibly can, accompanied, of course, by Laura Kenny and other riders on that squad as well. Matilda Gross, 19 years of age, European Keirin champion, last year's championships in Glasgow in Scotland, silver at the Europeans in the sprint the year before, and the World Junior Sprint champion as well. Just, again, getting those muscles limbered up. and also amongst the other riders, just getting themselves ready as well. Teammates, of course, are always supporting strongly the riders who are on the track at any particular time. That's the World Scratch Race champion, the defending champion from last year's titles in Apeldoorn, Keirin of Belarus. He rode a couple of rounds of the World Cup earlier in the season, but he'll be looking to bring his best form here. Christos Volodkakis, the Greek sprinter turned endurance rider, 30 years of age now. Christos, he too has taken wins in the World Cup scratch races a couple of times during the course of the World Cup season just completed. So he will start one of the favourites, Sam Welsford, one of the young members, one of the key members, of course, of the Australian Team Pursuit squad as well. But, Sam Welsford will be looking for a great performance here when he takes the start in the men's scratch race as well this evening. And the team down there from Canada looking forward to the action in the women's team pursuit. Little wave going on down there for the American team. They're the defending champions, of course, taking the title 12 months ago, and in fact they've had it on a couple of occasions in recent years. So there's a look at this evening's programme of racing. We begin with that women's team pursuit first round. We move into the women's sprint quarter-finals. The men's Keirin played out to its conclusion this evening, and also, of course, we will have the men's scratch race final. That was our first medal of these championships yesterday for the women, when Great Britain's Eleanor Barker beat Kirsten Wild of the Netherlands and Julian Dorr of Belgium to take the first medal of these championships. And the evening will be concluded in terms of racing by the women's team pursuit finals, and then the final two victory ceremonies of the evening. So a packed programme to get through here on day 2 of these World Championships. 5 days of action, of course, here at the Pruszkow Arena, celebrating 10 years since the last time it hosted the World Championships back in 2009. Looking back to last year and the championships in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands. And the women's team pursuit, well, it was the United States versus Great Britain in the final for that one. The men's team pursuit, well, Great Britain triumphed in that, beating Denmark, and Italy finishing in 3rd place. The men's scratch race, we just mentioned a few moments ago, Keirin, he was the winner of that scratch, ahead of Michael Scartazzini of Italy and Callum Scottson from Australia. And there they are on the podium. And the Keirin, closely contested as ever, but it was Colombia and Fabian Puertas who was the winner of the men's Keirin title 12 months ago. Now hold on, Tomoyuki Kawabata in 2nd and Maximilian Levy in 3rd place. And looking at the last event we will see this evening, the women's team pursuit finals, and the all-conquering American team adding their 2nd consecutive world title, with Great Britain 2nd and Italy in 3rd place. Will we see a repeat of that final with USA and Great Britain this evening? Italy, by the way, didn't make it into this round of the competition. Slightly surprisingly, perhaps. They're one of the favoured teams, but they won't. They will be taking on Australia in the competition in this first round. But let's see if they can progress forwards as well. And it was the men's team pursuit squad from Italy who didn't make it into their round of competition, suffering a crash during the preliminary stages of qualification yesterday. But the hopes of Italy rest on the shoulders of the women in the team pursuit. So riders continuing to complete the warm-up procedures here. We're just a few moments away from the start of racing with that women's team pursuit first round. And I can tell you that as the riders here prepare themselves for this action, you're in for an absolute treat here. And that the crowd definitely are going to be a little bit partisan for their favourite teams. The Polish crowd, of course, very much in number, but the Dutch have got a good contingent here, just adjacent to our commentary position, actually. They're cheering really loud for their riders as well. And also, of course, many other nations are represented here amongst our spectators. So that's our view of the track centre, and that's our first view of the riders who are going to be coming to the track for this first competitive action of the evening for the women's team pursuit first round. Let me just tell you how this competition works as we look at the American team, the defending champions. They'll be taking on Germany. Heat 2, Canada versus Belgium. Heat 3 will be Great Britain versus New Zealand. And the final heat, Australia versus Italy, will be the lineup for the last of these heats. From those third and fourth heats, the winning teams will go forward into the gold and silver medal final directly. And then the other 6 teams, that's the 2 losers from heats 3 and 4, plus the other winning teams from the other heats, will go into the draw, and the fastest of those will ride against each other for the bronze medal. That's the way the women's and indeed the men's team pursuit competition plays out these days. Let's introduce the riders who are coming onto the track for you. I'll also be introducing in a few moments someone who's joining me in the commentary box, not only for this evening, but for the rest of the racing during the course of these World Championships. It's a great pleasure to have her here with us in our commentary position, just having a chat with some people, some well-wishers at the moment. We'll mention that a little further in a few moments' time, but let's welcome the riders from Germany who are coming out onto the start line here. Franziska Brauser, Lisa Brenner, Lisa Klein and Gudrun Stock are the riders from the team of Germany. They were second in the women's team pursuit in the most recent round of the World Cup in Hong Kong just a couple of weeks ago. Their opponents who will start in the back straight, the world champions from 12 months ago, and indeed from 2017 in Hong Kong as well, the team of the United States of America, represented by Jennifer Valenti, by Christina Birch, Kimberly Geist and Emma White. Those are the riders who will line up with the team of the United States of America, the current Pan-American team pursuit champions as well. And the team from Germany here, two riders who rode well during the European Championships in Glasgow last year, with Lisa Brenner, the European individual pursuit champion on that occasion. So it's 16 laps of the track, 4 kilometers in total. And from these initial heats, looking for the teams who will progress into the bronze medal final. It's only the teams in heats 3 and 4 who will go into the draw for the gold and silver medal final. So, of course, that means that the defending champions, the United States of America, best they can hope for this time around will be a bronze medal. So Germany in the home straight, United States of America in the back straight. 16 laps of the track, all important to get underway as rapidly as you can and in the correct formation. The riders will be out of the saddle for a little while, just while they get on top of the huge gear that they're pushing, and then they will begin to settle into their more aerodynamic tuck position, which characterises the team pursuit. Of course, of the 4 riders on the track, 3 have to complete the distance. You can finish all 4 if you wish, but teams do tend to drop the 4th rider towards the end of the ride, and the time is taken on the 3rd rider across the line. So it's no good going off the front like a rocket, because it's the 3rd rider across the line who will be the one who counts for the time. Here we go, a head-on shot for the lineup here of the German team. Lisa Brenner has got our onboard camera here this evening. Lisa, the European individual pursuit champion, also a rider who was finished well in the team pursuit as well as European Championship. They took the bronze medal on that occasion. And it's the United States of America. We'll get a time check each time the riders head through their starting station. I can tell you at the moment they're very evenly matched indeed. We'll get significant split times for each of the 3 kilometre splits, and of course the final crossing of the line. Remember, the time is all important in this round of the team pursuit, because it is the fastest of the 6 teams who won't go into the gold and silver medal final will secure place in the bronze medal final. So at the moment, the advantage is in the favour of Germany, 0.896 of a second ahead of the team of the United States of America. We won't be far before we've got the split at the 1 kilometre marker. Germany are ahead, 1:09.407 for Germany. The United States of America, 1:09.780 is the time for the United States of America at the moment. Again, we're on board this time with Kimberly Geist of the United States. A recent innovation where the UCI have permitted the footage from on-bike cameras. It really does have an extra element to our TV coverage, and it gives you real insight into how closely together these riders have to ride to get maximum aerodynamic advantage, and of course to make sure that when they execute those changes they do so as neatly and as rapidly as they can. Of course, they change to come out of the banking here, and the team of Germany are still ahead. The current split time at the 2,000-metre marker, 2:12.798 for Germany, 2:14.439 for the United States of America. Well, it's my great pleasure to welcome alongside me in the commentary box here for these World Championships, the World, the Olympic and the European and national medalist. And it's a very warm welcome to Christina Vogel, who's joined us here this evening for our commentary. Christina, welcome to the World Championships. New view for you here from the commentary box, and no doubt looking forward to a great night's competition. I can't hear what she's saying.
Yeah. they're quite fast at all at the moment, huh?
Yeah, so we've lost the fourth rider for the German team and the USA as well at the 3-kilometer marker, 3:16.707 for Germany, 3:18.856 for the United States of America. So the advantage definitely being pressed home here by the German team. And of course, you're looking for the fastest time you can get from this qualification round, for the first round to take place in the bronze medal final. And I think it's reasonable to conclude that with a massive 3.181 second advantage, with just a handful of laps still to go, the Germans are going to claim victory over the United States of America, last year's champions, of course, but they will be out of the competition, I fear. We're heading into the final lap of the track, so the German riders here are heading towards victory in this first heat of the women's team pursuit first round. Little split in the American team. The lead rider has gone away, but of course it's the third rider here. It's the Germans line up across the line, and they will clock a time of 4:21.252. The time recorded by the team of Germany, and the United States of America, 4:23.721. So, Christina, perhaps a surprise there that the defending champions, the United States, found themselves riding for a place in the bronze medal, and now they've been defeated by the Germans in the first round.
Yeah, you see that every competition you have to win, and it's not easy. So, yeah, sometimes the years before the Olympic Games are totally crazy, because there are a few underdog stories and other people you say, oh yeah, where I come from and where I win, and that's crazy. So I thought that the United States could faster, but in the qualification you saw that the British and the Australian was very, very fast. So we will see who's gonna win the gold tonight, and yeah, who is gonna challenge for the bronze medal at all?
Yeah, well, of course, if Germany posts the fastest time of those 6 teams who won't make it into the draw for the gold and silver medal final, they are in with a good opportunity to try and claim that bronze medal. The decision who they will meet will come from the forthcoming rounds of the competition. Remember, in heats 3 and 4, it is the winning team from each of those heats who will go into the gold and silver medal final. So it's Great Britain versus New Zealand and Australia versus Italy in heats 3 and 4. But our next heat on the track is will feature the teams of Canada and Belgium. Canada will start in the home straight, taking a second place in the team pursuit in the World Cup round in Cambridge in New Zealand earlier this year, and represented by Alison Beveridge, Ariane Bonhomme, Annie Foreman-Mackey and Georgia Simmerling. And the team for Belgium, Lotte Kopecky, Shari Bossut, Jolien D'Hoore and Annelies Dom are the riders who line up for the Belgian team. Of course, Jolien D'Hoore, that third place in the women's scratch race final here last night. And she will be looking to try and get more medal opportunities if they record the fast time and overcome Canada. They have a chance to meet the German team for the bronze medal, perhaps. Away we go. Of course, again, we emphasise how important it is that the rider who starts in the starting gate has got the requirement upon her shoulders to be first away from the line, and also to make sure that they get the pace going. And they ride, of course, to a schedule which is calculated very carefully across many, many hours of training, as these riders prepare themselves for competition like this. And Christina, I'm thinking that the team pursuiters probably spend more time on the track practicing their craft, particularly the starts and the changes, than perhaps almost any other discipline in world cycling.
Yeah, I always say that track cycling comes from track cycling. Of course, the endurance rider have to do in the summer a lot of endurance races on the road to get that special shape, you know, to compete at that high level on that long endurance rides. But you see, they're quite fast, and they're really fast. And to go 70 kilometers per hour, to go over 4 kilometers, you need a bit of a sprinter, you know, but endurance sprinter. So, and even to start with less more than 1 minute. So the ladies, the German starts with 1 minute and 9 seconds. The Canadian girls are quite faster with 1 minute and 8 seconds. So it's like being in a 1,000 meter sprinter, you know. So
yeah, absolutely. And the split time for the Canadians, 1:08.094, as Christina said, the fastest we have seen in the first round of this women's team pursuit so far. The Belgians away 1:09.446. But of course, early days yet. The advantage for Canada stands at 1-9-2-7. Coaches, both the trackside, looking very stern at the moment. Of course, they're concentrated as well. And these riders do ride to a schedule, which the Australians have been talking about, that takes place over the years. These riders get to know each other, the way they ride and what they need to do. And at the end of that, they'll come out with a schedule that they'll hope to ride to. You don't want to go away like a rocket and then suddenly find yourself running out of energy towards the end of the ride, because, of course, it is all important that you finish your 3 riders and as close together as you possibly can. They fan out across the width of the track at the end of the race to make sure they don't lose any time at all. So 2:10.020 for Canada, 2:13.206 for Belgium. So the Canadians continuing their domination of this heat at the moment. We're through the halfway mark of the 2,000-metre point in this competition. As we mentioned, the Canadians showed us their form in the World Cup in Cambridge in New Zealand earlier in the year when they took a silver medal in the team pursuit. And for the Belgian team, well, as I mentioned already, Jolien D'Hoore on the podium yesterday for the scratch race. And the Belgian team still got all 4 riders. The Canadians, though, they've lost one, but they are still significantly ahead. You see the onboard pictures from Charlie Bossut's bike. And still working well together, the Belgian team, but the Canadians are getting ever closer. Of course, if there is a catch here, both teams do have to continue, because it's all important, the time, to determine who's going to go into the draw for that bronze medal final. So as we come through once again, still all 4 of the Belgian riders together. Lotte Kopecky, Charlie Bossut, Jolien D'Hoore and Annelies Dom. The Canadians, 1 rider down, but it's not dinted the speed at all. They're 5 seconds now ahead of Belgian riders here. And as we go through the 3-kilometre marker, 3:13.159, 3:18.219. It's beginning to look, Christina, as though there's no way back here for Belgium.
No, I don't think. The Canadian girls are so fast, and they have to, because they want to ride for the bronze medal, so they have to kick their asses, I'm sorry for saying that, but yeah, to be fast as possible. And yeah, you see the trainers, the coaches with their tablets, and they make the schedule before how fast they want to ride, round by round, and they make the plan. And because you don't know what's happening in the next heats, 3 or 4, so you have to be quite fast as possible.
So a lap to go, and it is going to be Canada who are going to finish here. But the question, of course, is will their time be faster than Germany? 4:21.252 was the time posted by Germany. The Belgians have still got half a lap to go. The Canadians line up for the finish and cross the line. Their time, 4:17.577. So Canada have got the new fastest time. Germany still second fastest of those teams who have run the first and second heats so far. They will all go into the mix for the bronze medal final. But, even though the Canadians were first to lose their 4th rider, the pace they produced there showed a really good time of 4:17.577. They were ahead right from the get-go, the Canadians, fastest at each of the intermediate split points, and of course coming out as the fastest of our team so far. You can see a look back at the start and the well, the energy that's required to get those gears turning. And once they settle into the rhythm and adopt that aerodynamic tuck position, coach watchful, just giving some advice. As Christina said, they've got usually a tablet in their hand, or maybe just a clipboard occasionally, or a stopwatch if they do it the old-fashioned way. But whatever means of communication that they use, they have got a method of communicating with the riders as they go past to tell them where they are in relation to the other team and how they're doing in terms of their schedule. But the Canadians, I think, will be pleased with that performance. And, of course, also to go into the draw for the bronze medal final will be the losers from heats 3 and 4. Remember, the winners of the upcoming heats will be the ones who go into the gold and silver medal final. Seeing the finish there of the Canadians, and you see how they make the effort to be across the forwards of the track, and no difference in position between them. So even though the time is taken on the 3rd rider, they don't lose any particular ground in that run to the line. So that is a conclusion of heat number 2, with Canada taking the fastest time so far. And we turn our attention now to last year's silver medalists and the holders of the world record. They will start in the home straight. This is the team of Great Britain, represented by Laura Kenny, Katie Archibald, Eleanor Dickinson, and last night's scratch race gold medal winner Eleanor Barker. And their opponents in the back straight, the team of New Zealand, the bronze medalists in 2017 in the team pursuit, Rishley Buchanan, Bryony Bota, Holly Edmondson, and Kirsty James. So the winner of this heat, heat number 3, will take a place in the gold and silver medal final. A hush descends over the crowd here in the Pruszkow Arena. They know this is going to be a special match with the world record holders, 4:10.236, taken by Great Britain in Rio at the Olympic Games in August 2016. And off we go, Katie Archibald leading them away. What an incredible athlete Katie Archibald is. She has, of course, got the World Omnium title as well to her credit. She'll no doubt be defending this in the days to come here. She's also the World Madison champion from Appledorn last year. And, of course, numerous British titles and European team pursuit champions as well for Great Britain. The team of New Zealand, well, they came into good form, winning the home round of the World Cup in Cambridge, New Zealand, at the beginning of January, showing the kind of form these riders can bring to the team pursuit. So this is going to be an interesting battle here, Christina. But, of course, Great Britain, of course, the world record holders, and they'll be desperately wanting to regain their title as world champions as well.
Yeah, you're seeing, it's always nice to see the Brits with their aerodynamic position, because yeah, this just kind of say on fleek. So I can say that you see how they're lying perfectly on their bike, and of course in the team pursuit, it's the important thing is to have the changes really good, and yeah, the technique is very good. So of course it's the reason why they're so fast, and I think they really want to win that title today. So the track is fast, and we'll see how fast they can.
Well, they've certainly started in that kind of vein. 0.850 is the current advantage held by the team of Great Britain, but early days yet in this third heat of the women's team pursuit first round. You can see the team of New Zealand well drilled as well. Of course, as Christina said, and we mentioned earlier in commentary, these riders do spend an awful lot of time just practicing riding in this formation. Millimetre precision required. You save 33% of the effort you would normally expend riding your bike if you're riding in the slipstream of another rider. That's why they do it in this formation and execute those changes as neatly as they can without losing any ground at all. Conclusion of the opening kilometre, Great Britain are ahead, 1:07.914, and that is the fastest opening kilometre we've seen so far in this first round of the women's team pursuit. 1:08.571 the time for New Zealand. That's the Great Britain coach there, Paul Manning, himself a rider world and Olympic titles in his illustrious racing career. Now one of the guiding lights behind the Great Britain endurance squad here. But the pressure on New Zealand in the opening part of this one, they're 1.340 seconds behind as we go through the halfway marker, and we see that head-on shot of Eleanor Barker's camera focusing on her teammate immediately behind her. 2:08.855 for Great Britain, 2:10.209 for New Zealand. So still Great Britain have the lead. They've been ahead right from the start. So both teams still with all four riders working strongly and working well together. Laura Kenny, of course, one of the incredible riders on the Great Britain team, recently come back into top-level action after having herself and Jason Kenny, her husband's first child. But she is now back in supreme form with the Great Britain team taking great team pursuit competition in the World Cup when they took the win in London and Berlin and Milton in Canada as well, showing us the kind of form they can bring. 2.093 now the advantage for Great Britain through the third kilometre, 3:11.093 against 3:13.224. So it's looking as though it's going to plan at the moment, Christina, for the team of Great Britain. Still all four riders going for each team.
It's hard to decide, huh? Oh, you see now the New Zealand girls are just with free. The last kilometer is hurting really, really much, and oh my God, there's a little gap. So I hope they could keep three girls together and not losing, because yeah, they're quite fast. It would be horrible to lose them.
That's the danger, and it was Kirsty James, the rider who has been dropped here by the New Zealand trio, and the leading rider is just beginning to gap the other two. They need to be watched for that, as Christina rightly says. Holly Edmondson is who's driving the pace for New Zealand at the moment. Of course, they're aware that the Great Britain team are bearing down upon them, and the silver medalists from 12 months ago, world record holders, the team of Great Britain, look as though they're going to secure their place in the gold and silver medal final. They're heading for the line. They finished with all four riders just dropping off the back at the last possible moment was Eleanor Barker. But what an incredible ride from Great Britain. Their time was 4:14.067. Comfortably the fastest performance we've seen so far this evening in this women's team pursuit first round. Whereas, of course, all important to the second place time for New Zealand, 4:17.980. And that is the second fastest time we have seen from those teams who have not made it into the final so far for gold and silver medals. So New Zealand in with a fighting chance if the remaining heat, Australia and Italy, the loser of that heat also will go into the draw for that bronze medal final. Head-on shot there of the Great Britain team. As Christina reflected, it's incredible looking at how smoothly they ride around the track here. It's the upper body rock still. It's just the legs pumping out the action. Paul Manning keeping a watchful eye. And, well, his face is not giving too much away, but I imagine they'll be pretty pleased with that performance. And now they will return to the track centre and wait with keen anticipation to see who they're going to meet in the World Championship final for the women's team pursuit. For we have just one heat remaining, and it will be the one between the team of Australia, silver medalists in 2017, Commonwealth Games team pursuit champions in the Gold Coast in Australia last year, and winners of the team pursuit in the opening round of the World Cup Series at Saint-Quentin and Yvelines in Paris at the tail end of last year. Their opponents last year's bronze medalists, the team of Italy, and they showed us their team pursuiting form because they won the final women's team pursuit in the last round of the World Cup in Hong Kong, China, just a few short weeks ago. They're also the silver medalists from the European Championships in Glasgow in Scotland in August of last year. So the riders just getting on board their machines once the rider who starts in the gate is secured in the gate and confirmation is given. The timing will start, 50-second countdown the riders get for the rest of them to get into the right formation. You can see the face of concentration there. Christina, what are the nerves like when you know you're just about to ride a race that's going to potentially put you in the World Championship final? Even riders as experienced as the ones on the track now must have a little bit of a flutter in the stomach when you get to the start line at this stage of the competition.
It's yeah, crazy, because when I was sitting in my box, now I can say it because it was secret, yeah. When I was sitting in my box, I was kind of nervous, but when they put me on the track and I was on the starting line, the nervosity was away. So I was ready to kick at this and to ride a really fast competition. So yeah, it's different because when you're riding here for bronze or for gold, you know, you want to be fast as possible, and it's nice to have an event with 4 girls that you can share the emotions. Now there are people who are nervous and they're more confident than the other people or other guy or women. They are a bit more hilarious. So it's nice to have that special moment together, and that's a nice thing on team events.
Well, just looking down at the Australian team there, a bit of a problem for the rider who's starting in the gate for them. That's Georgia Baker. She is the Oceania Team Pursuit and Omnium champion just a few short weeks ago in Australia when she took that title. But little problem with the placement of the bike in the starting gates. They weren't happy with it, so she has walked away.
And this is nerve-wracking. I'm sorry, this is nerve-wracking. Just standing here, you don't know what's going on. Is it the starting gate, the starting machine, or something with your tire maybe, or your bike? Yeah, you're just always looking to your technical advice and to mechanic, is something on my bike or not? Because yeah, you have to trust your bike 100% that everything is going good. And yeah, and the other girls standing on the track and waiting, you're warming up on that perfect time on just a minute, and now you lose. You lose the preparation minute by minute, and yeah, it's just nerve-wracking.
Yeah, we were reflecting on that yesterday. We had a similar delay. Of course, you also feel for the team on the opposite side of the track, the Italians, who were raring to go, and they've been on board their machines for a few moments now. If it's going to be a prolonged delay, they may well be released and allowed to roll around the track because, of course, being held up there on the start line, it looks as though it may be a more prolonged delay here for the Australians than we perhaps first anticipated. No sign of the bike being put back in the gate yet, and as I suspected, the Italians have been allowed just to roll away from the start line and just to keep those legs turning and keep the muscles nice and warm, because of course, as Christina said, you go through a very well-planned warm-up routine on the rollers, and you've had your massage and all that kind of thing that leads you up to the final. And then if there's a delay of any significant amount of time, you begin to lose that heat that's gone into the muscles. You also lose your focus as well a little bit, I imagine, because you've G'd yourself up for what's lying ahead, and now you have to wait until the problem, as Christina said, you don't necessarily know, particularly with your opposing team, what the problem actually is. So you really have got to try and keep that focus and keep yourself in the zone to make sure that when the start is given, you're able to deliver your absolute best performance. So the countdown has continued, even though we are lacking the required riders to start. I think it may have been a problem with the starting gate. Thumbs up there from our race officials. So that may well have been the problem that led to the difficulty for the Australian team. And hopefully that has been rectified. And so we can put the bikes back in the gate and allow the riders to get themselves back into the right frame of mind for this very important fourth heat of the women's team pursuit. Remember, the winning team from this one will meet the team of Great Britain in the final for the World Champions title and the gold medals. Australia start in the home straight. They're represented by Annette Edmondson, Ashley Ann Kudinoff, Georgia Baker and Amy Cure. And their opponent, Italy, Letizia Paternoster, Martina Alzini, Elisa Balsamo and Vittoria Gonzini. That's the lineup for each of these teams as they get themselves ready for the start, which hopefully won't be too far away now. And just getting themselves back in focus. 30 seconds to go. The ticks of the countdown clock probably get louder and louder in the ears as it gets ever closer to the time when the gate is released and you're underway. Then, you know, you've got 16 laps ahead of you. And, well, you've got to win if you're going to find a place in the gold and silver medal final. If you're the losing team, you will hope that your time is good enough for a place in the bronze medal. So both these teams have tasted success on the world stage in the team pursuit on numerous occasions. Italy, of course, last year's bronze medalists. And Australia. Oh, well, more problems here. Looks like a false start. Well, Christina, that is going to apply even more pressure to both teams now, because they, again, finally got underway and then immediately a false start was given. We'll hopefully get a review of that to see exactly what happened. Whether it was another problem with the starting gate, I don't quite know. But, of course, the rider who starts in the gate has to cross the line ahead of the other three, who are held by one of our trackside assistants. If one of the other riders crossed the line ahead of the rider in the gate, it would be judged to be a false start. Discussion happening amongst the Australian team and our trackside official. Here is the replay. Let's see if we can see what happened. Go from the other angle. Well, maybe second rider, possibly. Let's look at the Italian start.
So I don't know the problem at all. You sounds crazy, but now it's hard. Again, you have to prepare to focus on the start. I think that Australian girls have a bit more benefit because they ride team pursuit in so high level classes and competitions. Often they competing by the World Championships, Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games. So I think they get used to situations like these. And yeah, I don't know, the Italian girls are, we can say, brand new in the team pursuit event. They're doing a really good job since I think 2 years. Correct me if I'm false. The future is them. I'm really looking forward to the games, which medal they could win there. But yeah, I think because the Australian girls really know what to do in that situation, they have a little benefit in this in time now.
Well, the discussions continue. Some points being made and reinforced. A head-on shot there of that start of Australia. Still struggling to identify the issue.
So we were wonder, huh? I did see a false start, so maybe.
Oh, well, what do we know?
What do we know here?
Absolutely, we will find out eventually. But the Australians, well, they're smiling, and they're, of course, as we've been emphasising, they need to keep the focus. We are bringing the bikes back onto the track. Whichever team it was who are judged to have committed the false start, only got one more opportunity to record a time. You only get 2 goes at this, so if they commit a second faux pas for whatever reason, then it's game over, and the other team would be the winner. So more focus and more pressure, you can imagine it, on both teams here to make sure they get it right this time. They're the Italian team lined up, as Christina said. Very promising lineup of riders here. Of course, they took the bronze medal last year. We'll be hoping that they can go at least 1 or 2 this year. If they can overcome the Australians, they'll find a place in the gold and silver medal final where they'll meet Great Britain. And Marta Alzini, a European under-23 team pursuit champion last year. The Australian as well, Ashley Ann Kudinoff, second in the individual pursuit and the team pursuit in the world titles in 2017. So the final countdown begins once again. Less than 30 seconds to go. At this second opportunity to get the start underway after the mechanical gremlins were dealt with. So the face of concentration, if you could see it behind those reflective visors, but you can't. You just imagine what's going on behind that. But 9 seconds on the board. It's getting towards the point. The rider in the gate will be released, and we have 16 laps to decide who's going to meet Great Britain in the gold and silver medal final. Both teams cleanly away this time, much to the relief of both camps, I'm quite sure. So it's all important to get that formation into line and pedaling as smoothly as you can, as quickly as possible. Both teams have got away to what looks to be a good start here. We'll see an early advantage when they go through their starting stations, and very, very small by 0.002, 0.02 of a second just ahead for Australia, so barely discernible the advantage at the end of that opening half lap. But as we now get into the position where the riders have settled down to adopt that aerodynamic tuck position, and now, of course, beginning to unwind the pace that will be applied, scheduled to be adhered to, and conscious in the mind. The winners are heading for a gold and silver medal opportunity. The losers will be hoping for a place in the bronze medal final. As we come around once again, let's see if that advantage has increased for the Australian team. It has. It's still very indecipherable advantage, though, by 0.169 of a second. There's the electronic device being held up that shows the deficit to the team as they go through. We'll be getting our first split at the opening kilometre, and it's, well, that's a reflection of how close this ride is. Because 108.212 for Australia, 108.325 for Italy. So very little separating them at the moment, but now the Australians beginning to move a little further ahead.
Yeah, we both don't know how the plan is, so it's quite interesting. We will see just the first kilometer, what's the plan for the next. And I think that the coaches, when they close by, say, oh, you have to go faster, and give the sign to the teams that they can win it all to make it to the gold final. And it's nice to see the Australian and the Italian. It's like, yeah, you can say like an aerodynamic train, huh?
Aerodynamic train is a great way to describe it. One or two little gaps opening in the Australian lineup a couple of times. We've just noticed the last lap or so, and then quickly closing them again, of course, which is all important. The Italians perhaps a little bit smoother, and the way they're running a bit more consistently, but it's the pace on the side of the Australians at the moment to the halfway point. 2:09.580 for Australia, 2:10.581 for Italy. So once again, Australia, who have led from the start, are beginning to press home their advantage now. 1.452 is the lead held by Australia. We're into the second half of this final heat of the women's team pursuit. Remember, the winners are booking their place in the final against Great Britain. And at the moment, that is favouring Australia. They're again beginning to edge ahead. For the first time, the gap is now more than 2 seconds. We're heading towards the 3-kilometre split time. So the Italians, well, they'll be hoping, if they do lose out to Australia here, that at least they might be able to defend their bronze medal from 12 months ago. And of course, they'll have to record the fastest or second fastest time of those losing teams in order to achieve that. 3.126 now for Australia. So it's beginning to look as though the Australians have done the work required here in the early part of this one to really put the pressure on Italy. And coming back from a 3-second deficit at this stage of the ride, beginning to look more and more of a very tall mountain for the Italians to climb. 3:11.250 for the team of Australia, 3:14.673 for Italy. Still all 4 riders for Australia are going. Italy have dropped their 4th rider. They're down to 3, and it's going to come down to those 3 to see what time they can produce. They are going to be the team who lose out in this heat now. It's certainly looking that way, with 3.5 seconds the lead for Australia. And just the final laps to be completed here. They now lose their 4th rider as well, so both teams down to 3. Australia, who started here in the home straight, being the faster team than the Italians in the qualification round, are into their final lap. It looks as though we've got the prospect of a Great Britain versus Australia final for the women's team pursuit. Here come Italy, though, as they've got just half a lap to go, see what time they can record. But the Australian team are going to win this heat, and as they cross the line, even they're a little bit separated to go across line, 4:13.913. That was faster than the time posted by Great Britain in heat number 3. Is that an indication what might happen in the final? We'll know when we get to it, because Australia will take on Great Britain in the final for the gold and silver medals. Italy posting a time 4:18.528. And so I can tell you the bronze medal will be ridden between New Zealand and Canada. And that is the way that that competition will progress, and that's where our medals will come from. So Australia delivering a good ride there, despite the little pause at the start. It didn't put them off, I don't think, too much. And they've produced the fastest time of this qualification round in round 1 of the women's team pursuit. So Great Britain, Australia for the gold and silver medals, Canada and New Zealand for the bronze. Christina, that's going to be an intriguing gold medal final, in particular the old enemies, Great Britain and Australia, once again line up in the battle for the world title.
It's always that fight, huh? Australia against the British. They're close by, and they are just 4 seconds over the world record, so in the second round. So not much less things to see maybe in the final. And yeah, we see it that the Italian girls started really fast. I think they had the idea that they're not good enough to go to the big final, but I think they started to go fast at the first kilometer. We have a chance to be fast to go in the bronze final. So I think it did not work at all, but yeah, just trying.
So there's confirmation of those finals on the screen for you. Gold medal final between Great Britain and Australia. Bronze medal will be contested between Canada and New Zealand. That final coming up later on during the course of our live coverage here of day 2 of the 2019 Track Cycling World Championships, presented by Tissot here live from the Pruszkow Arena. Maybe if you have just joined us, it's myself, Paul Lawrence, and joined by Christina Vogel in the commentary box to talk you through the action here this evening. And we're getting ready for the next event, which will be coming on to the track. And we move from the women's team pursuit first round just completed to action in the women's sprint competition, the qualification rounds of which were completed during the course of the racing here this afternoon. We have now arrived at the one of the more decisive stages of the competition, at the quarterfinals, and this is where match sprinting takes on the complex of the race. And up until now, it's been sudden death, so if you lose, you're out of the competition. Now you've got a best-of-3 opportunity to stake your place and eventually go on to be the world title winner. Christina Vogel alongside me, of course, knows very well what it's like to win the world sprint title, and she knows the pressure these riders will be feeling here. But once you get to the best-of-3 stage, we always say it's always good to get the first win under your belt, and you put the pressure on your opponents. Is that actually what does go through your mind at the start of a race like this? If you get that first win, the opponent has to win the second one, and it takes a little bit of the pressure off you.
Sprint is not just what you're doing in track, of course. It's a competition in your mind, and when you win the first heat, it's a better position you have against the rival, because she have to maybe to change her tactics and to recognize and think, what can I do to win the next heat? So it's a comfortable situation when you first round, but we have here Stephanie Morton. Can I say it? She will be the world champion tomorrow so far.
Okay.
And really out of the window, but it's her time, because last year, I'm sorry, Steph, she lost against me, and the year before in Hong Kong, 2018. So the past 2 years, she was second in this discipline. So it's definitely her time.
Well, yeah, you've heard it from someone who knows what they're talking about when it comes to the world of sprinting, Christina Vogel. She's pinning her colours to the massive Stephanie Morton, and who's to argue with that? She's twice a silver medalist in recent years, losing to Christina in the world titles last year. And her opponent here is Elena Starikova. Starikova, the European team sprint 500-metre silver medalist, and also taking a good silver in the team sprint in the round of the World Cup in Hong Kong just a few short weeks ago. So a best of 3, of course, as we've just been reflecting. It's a battle of the mind as well as how fast you can go on the bike, and of course the tactical battle as well, because it's not just raw speed now here. The rider who draws the inside position is obliged to lead away from the start line unless her opponent elects to go past her. It was Elena Starikova in the dark blue and yellow colours who rolls away from the line first. Stephanie Morton settles into a position a couple of bike lengths behind her. And the reason it's advantageous to be in the second place is that the rider who has got the lead position has to ride forward whilst looking backwards, because of course you're trying to predict any potential attacking move from your opponent and trying to counter that move. That's where the tactical battle comes in as well. The first half lap has to be completed at walking pace or better. You can come to a halt and try and force the opponent to come around you by performing a standstill. Only 2 of them allowed during any sprint match, and for no more than 30 seconds at a time. That's often a tactic employed by the leading rider to try and force the second rider to come through. At the moment, though, a relatively steady pace in this opening lap, with Starykova content to sit in the lead position and Morton content to follow her around. Christina, a measured start here, but the tactical battle is very evident to see, because both these riders know that we've got a fierce opponent to try and overcome.
Yeah, we have here 2 different kind of techniques, because Starykova is a team sprint starter, so she can accelerate really, really fast. And Stephanie, as a former tandem pilot in the Paralympics, she's a girl with a really long full gas, but it's hard for her to accelerate because she's always riding big gears. So we see as Starykova trying to make the heat really slow, and we see now Stephanie Morton try to push her and keep her faster.
Yeah, the tactics you can see being played out here. Morton adopting the higher position on the track. That gives her the opportunity to sweep down and try and take Starykova by surprise. They're into the final lap at the bell. It is Morton who begins the acceleration. As Christina said, she's got a great final sprint, and she's beginning to show it now. Last year's silver medal, Stephanie Morton of Australia, is leading Elena Starykova of the Ukraine as they come around into the finishing straight. It's going to be first blood for Morton on the line. Stephanie Morton ticks the box in her first match against Elena Starykova. And, well, you're pretty much right there, Christina. She saved herself to the last lap. She accelerated past Starykova, and there was no way back for the Ukrainian. We'll see a replay of the closing stage there. Pat's going to talk us through it and just reinforce those tactics you were talking about. But proof there that Morton kept that tactical game really well played and used her pace at the end of it to overcome her opponent.
Yeah, we see that Stephanie tried to make that first heat really safe, huh? That you have the first victory on your side, and not to be in that moment to go to the third heat, you know. So better make it safe here at the first heat.
She used the height of the track as well to accelerate past Starykova as they came off the banking, as you saw there in the head-on shot here, off for the back of Stephanie Morton's bike. Shows that Starykova, it was a brave try from the Ukrainian, but she could not match the pace that Stephanie Morton brought to that first match. So in the best of 3, it is advantage, first of all, to Stephanie Morton of Australia, last year's silver medalist. And as you heard from Christina Vogel, her favourite for a title here tomorrow when we come to the finals of the women's sprint. So we shall see if that is correct. Let us introduce our next 2 riders on the track. Stretching the inside position is a rider from Hong Kong, China. Well, she's had a great World Cup campaign, taking victories in sprint and Keirin racing, particularly in the last round in her home nation of Hong Kong, China. That is YG Li on your screen now. We're wearing the bright blue and white colours of Hong Kong, China. Her opponent here is Anastasia Voinova of the Russian Federation team. Voinova is the team sprint silver medalist from the championships here yesterday. And of course, they took on that silver medal in the team sprint final. She's also the Olympic Games team sprint silver medalist as well, and the European team sprint champion, taking silver medal in the European sprint titles in Glasgow as well. YG Li, as we mentioned, second in the Keirin titles in 2018 in the Worlds in the Netherlands on that occasion, and she was third in the World Sprint Championships in 2017. And as I mentioned, she had a great World Cup campaign with victories in the Keirin and the sprint in the last 2 rounds in Cambridge and in Hong Kong. So she'll be coming into this one in good form as well. Christina, how do you rate YG Li? She's an incredible athlete, isn't she?
She's an incredible athlete, and I wonder what is in Anastasia Voinova's legs, because last night she was competing in the team sprint, and you feel day by day that there are competition kilometers in your legs, and probably I see that normally Sarah YG loves it to be on the second position and Anastasia on the front. So maybe they're changing.
Well, we haven't seen YG Li make any particular attempt to force Voinova to come through yet. You could, of course, employ the standstill we mentioned a few moments ago to try and persuade her opponent to go past, but She's occupying the lower position on the track as well. Voinova, as we saw with Morton in the preceding heat, using the height of the track here, being a little bit of a dummy she's trying to sell to YG Lee. She's wise in that, taking them both up high onto the banking. We've got 2 laps to go when they come to the finishing straight this time. It's a real battle of tactics here at the bell. 1 lap to go. YG Lee on the front, almost encouraging Voinova. Come on, she says. We're into the full-on sprint now as we go down the back straight. Voinova is coming out of the slipstream of YG Lee, but she's got the higher position on the track and the longer way to the line. YG Lee of Hong Kong, China, coming through. She's going to take first victory in match number 1, and almost a repeat of the tactical battle we saw in the first match in Morton and Starikova, with YG Lee taking it on from the front on that occasion and tempting Voinova to try and come through. Here's a replay, Christina. Voinova diving down. Looks like she was trying to take that sprinter's line away from YG Lee, but she covered that move very well indeed.
Yeah, you see in that, yeah, she was in a good position, but I think she hadn't the brave to go on the black line and to accelerate. And Sarah did a really good job that to know that she just want to make you faster, and she didn't want to play the game and trying to be smooth and yeah, trying to keep her speed that she needs. So yeah, she's diving, not staying Anastasia to the first position. So a really good tactic here so far from Sarah Lee. And I'm sorry, but I saw that there is no chance to win for Anastasia when she's diving and not go in the front. Yeah,
I think you're right, and the pace that YG Lee brings to these sprint heats is pretty impressive. And as Christina commented, she normally favours coming from behind and going past her opponent, but that time she was confident to take on Anastasia Voinova from the front, and proved to be the winner of the first race in heat number 2 of this women's sprint quarter-finals. The winner of each heat will qualify for the semi-finals, of course. And next up on the track, we have representing France, Mathilde Gros. There she is in the dark blue colours, and her opponent from the Netherlands is Lorien van Riesen. So they're away for the 3 laps of the track. Lorien van Riesen overcoming Carly McCulloch of Australia in their meeting in the 8th finals. And for Mathilde Gros, well, she was equal to the challenge of Simona Krupskaita, taking victory ahead of the Lithuanian in their match. So 2 big scalps for both these riders here. And Mathilde Gros, bronze medalist in the European Sprint Championships in Glasgow in the August of last year, also the European Keirin champion as well. Van Riesen, she rode as part of the silver medal winning Team Pursuit Squad World Championships last year for the Netherlands, and was the winner of the Keirin at the World Cup in Berlin. So Mathilde Gros and Lorien van Riesen, not quite as slow in the opening lap as the previous heats we've seen. It's a little bit more of an immediate battle for position here, but it's Mathilde Gros of France is in the lead position at the moment. Van Riesen content to sit behind her. You can see the rear view from the camera on Mathilde Gros's bike, and there is Van Riesen beginning to lift the pace, taking closer order. Is she going to go for that inside line? She's dived inside that red corner line before Mathilde Gros, so Van Riesen had taken this one on from the front. Lorien van Riesen of the Netherlands accelerates away. Mathilde Gros desperately tries to get onto that wheel. She left that sprinter's line vacant, and Lorien van Riesen said, yep, I'm having that. And as they come into the finishing straight, Gros draws closer, but she left it too late. It's going to be so close on the line. Well, we will wait for confirmation that it goes to a photo finish. I think that Mathilde Gros might just have done enough to take that. What do you think, Christina?
Yeah, I think it was a wake-up call, huh? That she just didn't see Lorien van Riesen diving in the front. Oh, yeah, and I saw it was a wake-up call for Mathilde Gros that she went in the photo finish the first heat, yeah.
Yeah, by 0.011 of a second. Here's a replay. Let's watch that again and just talk us through that, Christina.
Oh, it's so hard. It's so dangerous. It's just the round to go that when you be in the front and you see that Mathilde didn't want to lose the first position. She just wanted that Lorien van Riesen go more on her back wheel, that Lorien van Riesen can't made up the slipstream wheel. So, but in the round to go, you really have to have your eyes on the back what your rival are doing, and she's lucky that she was so fast enough and win at all.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a schoolgirl error to leave that sprinter's line vacant for Lorien van Riesen. Of course, once you're inside that red sprinter's line, it forces your opponent to go around the outside. had Gross tried to go underneath Van Riesen once she's inside that red line, she would have been penalised by the race officials. You have to go around the outside. That's the purpose of the red sprinters line when the battle has begun in earnest. So first victory for Matilda Gross, but by a very slender margin, and Lorraine Van Riesen will have been encouraged by that, I think, and we'll hope that she can hit back in the second match against Matilda Gross of France. So the fourth and final heat in this women's sprint quarter-finals. Best of three, of course, again. We were chatting with Christina before we came on air about Leah Sophie Friedrich, who is the UCI World Junior Sprint, Team Sprint and Keirin champion. She took those titles in Egler in Switzerland, the Junior World Championships in early August last year. I had the great pleasure to commentate on those titles, and Leah Sophie Friedrich is a real promising talent for the nation of Germany and the sprint disciplines. Her opponent, Tania Calvo of Spain, well, she's a Spanish sprint champion herself, also the 500-metre time trial champion, and took a silver medal in the Spanish Keirin and team sprint titles last year. So Leah Sophie Friedrich in the familiar colours of Germany, taking this one on from the front with 2 laps to go. And Christina, you were saying that Leah Sophie Friedrich, you could see in the way that she rides that she's got a real potential to be a great champion in the future.
Yeah, I loved it. Did you see the face-to-face before the start? I loved the tactic game in the front, and Laura did a really good job because Tanya trying to keep the back wheel. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a German thing, you know. I see a German rating, and I'm crossing my fingers for that because here I can say it because she not hear me and she will not hear me.
Well, because she's won, so you're okay. Well, yeah, Leah Sophie Friedrich is the winner of heat number 4, overcoming Tania Calvo.
Because I'm seeing in her a little bit me when I was in the same age like her. So yeah, it's so nice and so smooth, and you see that Tanya wanted to nerve her a bit because she always keep her back wheel and rate that Leah Friedrich goes upstairs to dive in, and sometimes it's really nerve-wracking for you because you don't know, can I go up or not? Should I speed? Should I not speed? Should I stay in my position or my speedness? So, but you did a really great job.
Well, there aren't too many occasions where you see a junior world title holder perform at this level at the Senior World Championships in virtually the same season she has won those junior titles. But Leah Sophie Friedrich goes 1 match ahead with Tania Calvo being put under pressure for Spain. So at the conclusion of the first matches in the women's sprint quarter-finals, it was Stephanie Morton overcoming Elena Starikova, YG Lee getting the better of Anastasia Voinova, Matilda Gross just narrowly beating Lorraine Van Riesen, and Leah Sophie Friedrich outpacing Tania Calvo to the finish line. So we'll return to the second match in that competition a little bit later on, but we're going to change sprint disciplines now from the women's sprint competition to the men's Keirin. We are at the semi-final stage in the men's Keirin, and we're running the Keirin at these world titles under the revised rules that were devised for the Olympic Games in 2020, of course, coming up next year. And all the riders and teams are very much conscious of the fact they're on the closing stages of the Olympic cycle. And we've added an extra round into the Keirin racing. I was just chatting with Christina before we came on air about that, and she said, yeah, when I looked at the start list, I was a bit surprised to see that extra round, but yeah, that's the way it'll be played out on the boards in the velodrome in Japan when the Olympic Games take place next year. The riders are drawing for their start position here. Now, Christina, when she won her Keirin titles, the first one was before they changed the rules in the way the Keirin runs, which came about after the Games, the Olympic Games in Rio, when we saw Jason Kenny take 3 attempts to take the gold medal in the men's Keirin final. And now, of course, you have to line up in the order that you draw the start, and you have to also adopt that position behind the wheel of the Derny pacing bicycle. You can't actually vie for position until the race is underway. So that change happened between you winning the title in 2016 and 2017. How did that affect the way you ride the Keirin? Did it change it significantly?
Yes and no. After Derny, you had always time to change your technique. You see you see who's on the front, who's not, who's in our back rear, who not, and who may go in the front when the Derny is off. So now you have a little more time to take your time to change your tactics or not. But I think the people who went to the Japanese Keirin tour, like Stefan Böttcher, for example, Theo Bors et al., they knew it because that's traditional there. So it's every time they riding a Keirin there, the number you took, you go.
Yeah, so the Derny pacing machine will leave the track in the home straight now with 3 laps to go, and the riders who are lining up here for the start of this men's Keirin semi-final, from which the first 3 will go into the major final for places 1 through to 6, and of course the gold, silver and bronze medals. The losers will go into the minor final. Now Stefan Vigier of France, Stefan Botticher of Germany, Yudai Nitter from Japan, Theo Bos, 5 times a world champion in the Keirin sprint and the time trial from the Netherlands, Christoph Maxel from Poland, and from Trinidad and Tobago, Kwesi Brown, who is a Pan-American team sprint champion and a former Trinidad and Tobago Keirin champion as well. That's the riders involved here. The rider on the wheel of the Derny pacing machine is the man from Germany. That is Stefan Botticher. He's the European Keirin champion, taking that title in the Sir Christophe Velodrome in Glasgow in Scotland last year. Just behind him, Sebastian Vigier, 3rd in the sprint competition at the World Titles in Appledon last year. Yudai Nitter of Japan is just behind the Polish rider, who is Christoph Maxel. Yudai Nitter was runner-up in the Asian Keirin titles last year, and was also a rider who took a 3rd place in the Keirin in Cambridge, New Zealand. We're about to see the Derny pacing machine leave the track in the home straight now, so it's full-on sprinting. Oh, well, it's been brought to a halt. So I fear that maybe the riders had overhauled the Derny before it left the track. We shall have a replay of that, and Christina will cast her expert eye over proceedings to see why that heat has been brought to a preemptive conclusion. Here's Theo Bos of the Netherlands, who mentioned 5 times a world champion.
It would be just stupid when you overtake the Derny, because it would be a disqualification.
Well, there was a bit of argy-bargy between Bos and Vigier there, wasn't there? And he's got a head-on view of that.
Yeah, but I don't know why, because he didn't overtake the Derny, because the Derny was off the track. So I don't know why they stopped the Keirin. But that's the thing, because they changed the system. There are now 3 rounds to go when the Derny goes off, and the thing is, by the men's, from the first lap, there's just 4 guys, and all the people who took the 6th position, normally they had no chance to win, because now they go so early in the front, and from the first centimeter by the bands, it's just a full gas Keirin race.
Seeing this again here, Christina, you can see Theo Bos coming down, Stefan Vigier going up. The Derny at that point still on the track. And a view from the rearward-facing camera here, giving a little bit more of a view of Theo Bos. The camera actually is on Vigier's bicycle, I think, rather conveniently. It's, well, whatever the outcome of this one, the heat will have to be restarted. So riders just taking on a little bit of hydration as they roll around the track. The most hirsute member of this starting lineup is the man from Poland, Christoph Maxel, taking the bronze medal in the first round of the World Cup in Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines in Paris, the October of last year.
It's always nice to see now you can rechange your tactics, because you definitely know that Theo Bos will took the 6th and he wanted to go full gas when the Derny go out. So Stefan Botticher, he have to welcome this, definitely. And
well, we can see our Commissaire President, who is looking at the replay of that. That is Jérôme Lepassion from France, and also our starter for the championships, Svetlana Denisenko from the Russian Federation. Just reviewing that.
From my side, there was nothing. There was a full gas Keirin. Of course, there are touches between the riders. It is Keirin, not sprint. So it was hard movements, but so far for me it would be fine. Of course hard, but it would be fine. So
firm but fair, as you might say. But well, you can see the coaches there, perhaps as curious as we are here in the commentary position as to the basis of the decision to bring that event to a premature halt. As soon as we have some definitive information, we'll certainly let you know. But it's interesting to reflect, Christina, just while we wait for this heat to be reset, how the character of the Keirin has changed over the years. It used to be, and people erroneously say that Keirin is Japanese for flying, which actually it's not. It's just Japanese for bike race, really. But it's, of course, a sport that grew up in Japan, where they bet on it very heavily, and adopted, of course, in Europe later on. And we see a very perhaps sanitised version of the Keirin these days, when the rules have been refined to make sure that riders don't get into shoulder-butting their opponents out of the way and that kind of thing. It has changed the character of the race, but for the better or the worse, do you think? That's the way that the Keirin is played out these days?
I think for the men's works definitely. It's just a four guys racing from the first moment. Sometimes the women's are a bit, be scared for the distance, because we have 3 rounds, and at least the competition starts with 2 laps to go or one lap to go. So it works for the men's, but not for the girls.
Okay, well, it looks like we're going to bring our riders back onto the start line to rerun this first heat of the men's Keirin semi-finals. If you have just joined us, this is the first of 2 heats from which the first 3 riders across the line, when we eventually do get them across the line, will go into the major final for the gold, silver and bronze medals. And oh, I think someone's got a puncture now.
That was a tire, I think so.
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it? So I don't know whether it's affected one of the riders who are on the track or whether it was down in the track centre, but it was certainly a loud bang that penetrated even our headphones here in the commentary box. So it's all happening down in the track centre. But the riders are pretty much back on the start line, just waiting for Theo Bos to return to the starting lineup as well. There is the face of Sebastian Vigier, the one who is vying with when the race came to a premature conclusion. So Sebastian Vigier, Stefan Bottiger, Uday Nitter, Theo Bos, Christoph Maxel and Quasi Brown will line up once again. There is Stefan Bottiger of Germany. You can see his vital statistics there, his performances over the years. 27 years of age now, European champion. The starter's hand is held aloft to indicate that the Derny machine can make its journey from the back straight. He'll pick the riders up travelling at 30 kilometres per hour. When he departs from the track with 3 laps to go, they'll be travelling at 50 kilometres per hour. Gunfire as we get underway, and Theo Bos on the outside of the lineup here, and on the inside, and when obliged to take the wheel of the Derny, is Stefan Bottiger. Behind him, Sebastian Vigier, and for Poland, it's Christoph Maxel. Behind Maxel is Uday Nitter of Japan, Quasi Brown from Trinidad and Tobago, and bringing up the rear is Theo Bos of the Netherlands. Theo Bos, of course, left track cycling behind for a couple of years when he pursued more interest in the road, and then has returned in absolutely incredible form in the last couple of years, and he'll start as one of the favourites here in this heat, I'm sure. We saw great riding from him earlier in the day in the preliminary rounds of the Keirin, and here he is sitting on the back at the moment. And as you commented earlier, Christina, with the increased distance of the 3 laps, coming from the back is not quite such a difficulty as it used to be over the shorter distance when the pacer leaves the track. So Bos is just keeping a very watchful eye from the back of the group at the moment.
So when I would be Stefan Bottiger, yeah, you see, I would have a gap to the Derny, because you know that they are really nervous and trying to go in the front as soon as possible. Oh my God, it's going fast, it's going fast.
Yeah, so the Derny's off the track, and here comes Theo Bos. Stefan Bottiger is the rider at the front here for Germany, but Bos comes around the outside. In 3rd place is Sebastian Vigier of France. Remember, just the first 3 riders to secure a place in the major final. 2 laps to go. Well, Bos has decided to take this one on from the front. He's a former world kilometre champion, so 3 laps of the track at top pace is not a problem for Theo Bos. The others are fighting on. Here comes Uday Nitter of Japan and Christoph Maxel of Poland. Maxel beginning to draw level now. Vigier of France, but he can't get past him. And here comes Bottiger fighting back. The German Stefan Bottiger has overcome Theo Bos. Bos beginning to fade, almost getting himself, of course, underneath her. And as he comes to the line, it's going to be Bottiger of Germany, just ahead of Vigier of France, with 3rd place across the line, awaiting confirmation. I think it was Uday Nitter. It was Nitter just getting there ahead of Christoph Maxel. Well, Theo Bos took that one on early and from the front, but at the end of that one, he finished plumb last in 6th place. So Stefan Bottiger, Sebastian Vigier and Uday Nitter go forward into the final for gold, silver and bronze medal in the men's Keirin. Christoph Maxel, Quasi Brown and Theo Bos will go into the minor final for places 7 through to 12. Little look back at the action here, Christina. And, well, Theo Bos took that one on early, but it was too early, wasn't it?
It was too early. It was really too early. That I was saying that when in the 6th, you trying to go really from the beginning on to the front, and Stefan Bottiger did just a perfect heat, because Theo Bos goes so full gas, and he's trying to breathe again in the slipstream and to watch out what's in your back. And his moment to overtake Theo Bos was just magnificent. It was brilliant, perfect. So far it wasn't brilliant ride from him.
Yes, here's the head-on shot as they come towards the line. Stefan Botter of Germany stakes his place, and the opportunity for a medal awaits for him. It's really close between Udai Nitter and Christoph Maxel for the third qualification place, but it was Udai Nitter who just got the better of Maxel as they crossed the line. So that's heat number 1. Took some getting there to starts given, but eventually we got there. And here is the iPad of Doom. Other tablets are available, of course, for the riders to draw their position. We did discover one little flaw in this plan, Christine. I don't know if you ever came across this one, but if you ride with the track mitts on and you attempt to select your starting position from the touch-sensitive tablet, it doesn't actually work, as you can see graphically illustrated there. So a little bit of help from the official with an ungloved thumb, just to make sure that the technology works. And you can see that the rider there from Japan, Yuta Iwakimoto, had kept one glove off, so he had a hand free to press the button on the tablet. So a little bit of a light-hearted moment there, but now it's all serious action because we have heat number 2 of the men's Keirin semi-finals. The riders who will line up for this one. The world sprint champion from last year from Australia, Matthew Gleitzer. From Great Britain, the runner-up in those world sprint titles, Jack Carlin. From Japan, the Keirin champion for the World Cup in Paris, Yuta Iwakimoto. From Malaysia, the Olympic bronze medalist in the Keirin in 2016, Nazil Hasne Awang. And we have got from the Netherlands, Matthias Buckley. And from New Zealand, Big Eddie Dawkins, who of course was involved in that team sprint competition here yesterday, as indeed was Matthias Buckley, who rode on the preliminary rounds of the team sprint on the way to Netherlands, taking the title. So the second heat is underway. A little bit of a vying position here for the back wheel of the Derny. It is, of course, they have to take up the position in the order they drew the start. That means Jack Carlin is the man who has the wheel of the Derny here at the moment. Just behind him is the man from New Zealand, Eddie Dawkins, and Dawkins second in the Olympic team sprint in Rio, and also a former team sprint and Keirin champion as well for him. Just behind him we have got the rider from Japan, Yuta Iwakimoto. Behind Iwakimoto is a Wang. He's already came to grief from one of the early stage. He actually crossed the line in third place in one of the preliminary heats and then came adrift as they came into the corner following the finish line. The good news is he was okay and could resume the competition. And undaunted, these guys have made a pretty stern stuff as it goes. And Matthew Gleitzer, followed by Matthias Buckley as the last 2 riders in line here. So a very, very competent field of riders as the Derny begins to make its move off the track. And coming from the back is Matthew Gleitzer, taking this one with Jack Carlin on the front. Gleitzer adopts the early lead position. Carlin on his wheel. Look out for Matthias Buckley of the Netherlands, who is coming right from the rearmost position. Draws low with Gleitzer. Jan van Eyden encourages Jack Carlin to try and stake his claim in the middle. All the riders deviate off the track as they come to the finish line with 2 laps to go. It is still the Netherlands and Matthias Buckley leading this one out in second place, coming around into the finishing straight with 1 lap to go. It is the rider from Malaysia, Wang. Third place is Matthew Gleitzer. Jack Carlin desperately trying to get over Gleitzer if he can. Gleitzer is challenging Wang now for second place. It's still Buckley on the front. He was the first to accelerate away when the Derny left the track. Can he bring it right through to the lines? Can he ever so close? Here we go once again. Oh, and just lifting his front wheel across the line. Matthias Buckley. That again will go to the photo finish. Jack Carlin, I think, will be confirmed as third in that one. But Matthew Gleitzer and Matthias Buckley took that one on right to the line. Buckley lifting his front wheel across the line, such that the pressure he was applying, and he is confirmed as the winner. But that was very close indeed, Christina, and a really powerful ride from Matthias Buckley. He went as soon as the Derny left the track and managed to hang on just by the very smallest of margins.
Yeah, the Netherlands boys are there at the moment on a very different planet and team sprint. We had yesterday an awesome time, run man by man, position by position. Oh, it was close, huh? You see the replay, I love the replay on the bike. You see that's Keirin. Sometimes it's gone a bit too thin to overtake. But we see here Matthew Gleitzer, he had a good tactic, because you see that the Dutch technique at the moment is to go really on the front. And he let him overtake to trying to spare a little bit and then to win in the end.
That's definitely what we'll call a blanket finish, and well, Matthijs Buckley, I think you can see the relief on his face. The officials just making sure that all was well there before we confirm that one. So that was the order they crossed the line. Matthijs Buckley, Matthew Glaetzer, Jack Keirin. That's shown on your on-screen graphic. Just waiting for the confirmation to click onto our results computer here in front of us. But if that is confirmed, it will be Buckley, Glaetzer and Keirin who will meet Botticher, Vijay and Nitta in the final for the medals. Gold, silver and bronze. And Awang, Wakimoto and Dawkins, Maxwell, Brown and Boss will be the ones who contest the minor places for 7 through to 12 to classify them in the competition. You can see our photo finish image there showing you how close that was. I would say about a bike rims, wheel rim difference between Matthijs Buckley and Matthew Glaetzer. Here's an overhead shot. Sorry, Christine.
The crazy thing is that I think that they both see who won or not. When you as a rider not seeing who is winning, then it's really, really, really close, really close.
Yeah, you can always tell when it's close, as you say, because the riders themselves are not quite sure whether they've won or not. But Matthew Glaetzer, that's why he was breathing that sizable sigh of relief there. Sorry, Stefan Botticher, I should say, was breathing that sigh of relief when we saw him come across the line to confirm his win, and so too Matthijs Buckley. So Germany and Netherlands win the heats, and of the 3 riders, first 3 in each heat, they are the ones confirmed for the men's Keirin final a little bit later on this evening. So that's to look forward to as our competition programme continues here on day 2 of the UCI Track Cycling World Championships, presented by Tissot, here live from the Pruszkow Arena, just on the outskirts of Warsaw here in Poland. Second time this venue has hosted the World Championships. The first time was back in 2009, so the 10th anniversary of the hosting of the World Championships, and we're back here once again. We're back here for competition in the men's team pursuit. We are at the finals stages of this one. Competition began with the qualification rounds yesterday. And we're at the decisive point where the medals will be decided. The first battle is for the bronze medal, which will take place and feature the riders from Canada versus Denmark. Canada fielding Derek G, Michael Foley, Adam Jameson and Jay Lamoureux. Their opponents from Denmark will start in the back straight. It is Lasse Norman Hansen, Julius Johansson, Rasmus Pedersen and Kasper von Folsack. So Denmark versus Canada. Denmark got 3:55.602 on the way into this bronze medal final, and Canada 3:54.670. So on the basis of that form, it would favour Canada, but can all change in the next round of the competition. In fact, the team of Denmark have mixed their order up a little bit. They have replaced Nicholas Larsen, who rode in the previous round in the for the lineup for the final here. We've been replaced by Julius Johansson. Picture fading between the riders and the countdown clock. There you can see the team of Canada. They are in the home straight. It's the fastest of these 2 teams in the qualification round. You can see those unique aerodynamic helmets. We first saw them being sported by the Hub Watt Bike test team during the course of the World Cup Series, which is being completed. They look a little strange, but they do appear to be quite effective. And the Danish team will be hoping it will aid them on the way to a bronze medal. Of course, we mentioned during the women's team pursuit a little bit earlier in this evening, this is all about riding as a team in formations close together as you dare. And of course, the schedule will dictate the pace at which you lap the track here. 16 laps in total, 4 kilometres of racing. And Denmark, they had a good World Cup campaign to bring them here into these World Championships, and they'll be hoping to try and reinforce that. They've put the team pursuit in both Milton in Canada and the first round in Paris as well. Lasse Norman Hansen, of course, a medalist in the world titles of the Omnium as well as the team pursuit. So a very strong team indeed from the Danish nation, but Canada equal to the task. They also rode well in the team pursuit in the World Cups as well, taking second place in Cambridge in New Zealand, also the round in Berlin as well. So 2 silver medals. This is the team that actually accomplished that during the course of the World Cup campaign. So we'll be looking for the first split time, which shows Denmark have got an early lead here, 1:02.368 ahead of Canada, 1:03.595. But as we've been emphasising throughout our commentary so far this evening in the pursuiting competitions, going away the fastest isn't always guarantee you're going to come out the winner, because of course the schedule may dictate an increase in pace for the team who are lagging in the early stages. And if you do go away too quickly, as Christina mentioned a little bit earlier, that you can find yourself running out of energy at the key moment in the last couple of laps when you have to deliver that final run to the line. So at the moment, the team of Denmark ahead, and they got the tall figure of Lasse Norman Hansen driving around the track there. You saw a full-on head-on shot of Lasse Norman Hansen a few moments ago. So early advantage here for Denmark, almost 3 seconds the deficit for Canada. So this is a swap around the fortunes of the times you saw in the preliminary round of the competition. But at the moment, Christina, it looks as though Denmark are doing the better work at the moment, as we look at the on-bike camera of Rasmus Pedersen.
Yeah, but in the end, so far, and Denmark is sometimes like in surprise spots, because they're really starting quite fast, and then it's often that they lose each other and don't come like a 3-man or 4-man train in the finish line. So they're starting quite fast, but yeah, we see it. How fast it will be when they finish the 4 kilometers.
Yes, of course, it all counts, and 3 riders have to cross the line as close as they can to get the time to take on the 3rd rider across the line. The halfway point, it was still advantage Denmark, 1:57.512, playing a time of 2:00.658 for Canada. On screen graphic, that red line getting inexorably closer to the word Canada, which shows the advantage for Denmark. 3:4.28 is the lead as they go through. We'll be looking for the next split at 3 kilometers, and it is still advantage for Denmark, 2:53.991 against 2:57.398. Denmark lose the 4th rider, so too did Canada. So both teams down to 3 now. They have to complete the distance now to see who is going to claim the bronze medal. Our first confirmed medal of the evening will be the winners of this battle for bronze in the men's team pursuit. And we're getting towards the closing stages now. The gap's still 3.4 seconds, so the Canadians have steadied the ship a little bit, but of course they are considerably behind the pace of Denmark. As Christina reflected, sometimes the Danes do get a little bit over-enthusiastic in the closing stages and begin to lose their cohesion, but it's not looking that way at the moment. It is looking as though Denmark are on course here for a bronze medal in the men's team pursuit final. They come around with just less than a lap to go and line up for the line. Denmark are there comfortably beating Canada for the bronze medal. Denmark in 3:51.804 are the winners of the bronze medal. So the riders there claiming that bronze for Denmark. Lasse Norman Hansen, Julius Johansen, Rasmus Pedersen and Kasper von Folsack. And you can see they are pretty pleased with that one. As well, they might be. The Canadians were never ahead in that battle, and they saw the lead of the Danes increase lap by lap. They steadied it, but couldn't then come back. 62.121 kilometers per hour, the average speed recorded by Denmark on the way to that bronze medal. So a pretty brisk final, and the outcome is that Denmark are the bronze medalists. But Christina, those helmets really do look strange, don't they? But obviously effective.
They look really strange, yeah? They look more like they're using them in the Star Wars movies, huh? But,
yeah.
To be honest, the POL helmet is at the moment the fastest helm for time trials. So, yeah, we have to confirm that style, huh? For the aerodynamic.
Yeah, it's not a fashion contest at the end of the day. It's whatever is the most effective, and as proven in that bronze medal final. Well, it all plays a part. It's obviously not all entirely due to the helmet, but all kinds of technology is brought to bear in the bikes, the skin suits, the helmets, the covers on the shoes. Everything plays into eventually delivering that title if you're in a medal final. And in this case, it is the team of Denmark who have taken the bronze medal, much to the delight of the Danish coach there, as you see, just allowing himself a moment of celebration. And there is the man Lasse Norman Hansen. That's considerable. There is Lasse Norman Hansen, as he on your screen for you, and they will doubtless be celebrating that bronze medal, having overcome Canada in that bronze medal final. Well, we were mentioning that the final for the gold and silver medal is an intriguing battle, and if you think you're going to see an action replay here, well, let's just reflect on the fact that both the men's and the women's team pursuit finals will feature Australia versus Great Britain. So this is, of course, the opportunity for the men to claim the title. The lineup here for Great Britain, who will start in the back straight. They were slightly slower in qualification than Australia, but only by a very, very scant margin of a tenth of a second. Australia, in fact, clocking 3:51.529 in the previous round, and Great Britain 3:51.635. Just let me reflect on that and tell you that the world record currently held by Australia is 3:49.804. So both teams quite close, potentially, to pinching that world record along with a world title. That record has stood since April 2018 in Brisbane in Australia, recorded by the Australian team. And the Australian team here in the home straight: Sam Welsford, Kelland O'Brien, Lee Howard and Alexander Porter. And their opponents, the team of Great Britain: Ethan Hayter, Edward Clancy, Keirin Amadi and Charlie Tanfield. So this is the battle for gold and silver medals in the men's team pursuit final at the world titles here in Pruszkow. And the countdown is about to conclude. The race gets underway. Big Ed Clancy driving away from the line. He is the gate man for Great Britain. He gives them an absolutely rock-solid start every single time that Ed Clancy takes the track for the British team. One of the most reliable riders in your squad. And, of course, tribute to his Olympic and world titles on numerous occasions with the rest of the team as well. Ethan Hayter, the rider who took the world title last year. Great Britain are the defending champions, by the way, from last year in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands. Keirin Amadi, sprinter turned pursuiter. And another rider who rides very strongly in this team pursuit squad, Charlie Tanfield, youngest member of this team, and a rider who propelled himself onto the world stage, hails from Great Ayton in the northeast of England. Elder brother Harry Tanfield, also a professional cyclist as well. But Charlie is the Commonwealth Games individual pursuits title winner in the Gold Coast last year, and also was part of the team pursuit winning squad in Apeldoorn last year. Australia, Sam Welsford, well, the Commonwealth Games scratch and team pursuit champion. They were the medal winners in 2017, so both these teams have tasted the position on the top of the podium, the top step in the last couple of years. But in the opening couple of the opening kilometre, 1:01.397, so an early lead for Australia ahead of Great Britain in 1:02.100. So a good start here for the Australians, but less than a second their advantage, Christina.
I'm really looking forward to the finish time, because yesterday the Australian was definitely on the way to new world record, but they have I was so happy that they didn't crash, because the Australian and the New Zealanders had a touching while overtaking them. It was really risky, and there was one man each by each on the track, and they found each other. I think they need two rounds to find again the three-man train. The team, and for that they had a really good time, so it could be here the world record so far. Yeah,
we've yet to see a world record fall in the first day and 3/4 of these world titles so far. Of course, we may well see it in both the team pursuit finals, but at the moment it is still advantage for Australia. 1:56.694 plays 1:57.822 at the halfway mark. So Great Britain, the defending champions here, taking on the 2017 champions Australia, and still all four riders riding strongly, but Great Britain have got ground to close here on the Australians. As Christina rightly says, had the Australians not got a little bit mixed up with the New Zealand team, who they caught in the preceding round of this competition here yesterday, they might have been, of course, on that occasion for a new world record. Well, Great Britain have lost to their first man. The rider dropped there for Great Britain is Keirin Amadi. Still all four going for Australia, although there's a little bit of daylight between man 3 and 4 here for Australia. It's closed the gap as they go back into the back straight here. 2:52.645 for Australia, 2:54.139 for Great Britain. So the gap is approaching 2 seconds now in favour of Australia. So desperate moments here for Great Britain as they try and up their pace in these closing laps. Australia still with all four riders in full flight here. Now they drop their fourth man. So we get into the final stages of this gold medal world title final. And through the line we come. Australia still with the lead. 2.107 now, the advantage held by Australia. And they get the bell as they go through the line this time. The Australians are on course to repeat their gold medal win of 2017. Great Britain can't match the pace of the Australians in the closing stages. 2.5 seconds the advantage. Australia are the gold medal winners and the world champions. Let's look at the time. It's 3:48.012. That is a new world record for Australia. So not just a gold medal, not just beating Great Britain, but also taking the new world record, beating their own time that stood since April of last year. The crowd here on the feet as well they might be. All the teams and riders in the track centre applauding as well. Christina, what an incredible ride that was by Australia. A new world record.
Just incredible fast though. All the people who are watching this, stand up off your couch and the sofa, just cheering and clapping for these boys because it's unbelievable fast.
So Sam Welsford, Kellen O'Brien, Lee Howard, Alexander Porter, the team of Australia are your new world champions, regaining the title and in the process setting a new world record. They were ahead right from the start. They went away quicker than Great Britain and they increased their advantage lap by lap. There you see the statistics on the screen in front of you. The world record, 3:48.012, beating their old record, 3:49.088. 0.04 by a considerable margin, and well, no disgrace for Great Britain in the silver medal position as well, 3:58.10. Good time as well in second place for Great Britain, but the gold medal and the world champions are the men you see on your screen here. The team of Australia, a textbook ride in the team pursuit, has brought them another gold medal here at the championships. And we see the close-up there of the riders adopting that aerodynamic position. The coach at trackside, he knows they're on world record pace. And, well, he was holding his breath at this stage as well as they came across the line. But he didn't need to because they've beaten that record by a considerable margin. 3:48.012. The world title and the world record is the property of the riders from Australia. Well, as always happens when a gold medal is won, the flags of the winning nation are magically produced from all around the track. And, well, the phalanx of press photographers closing in on the Australian team as well they might. They've got the flag of their home nation, the fourth rider just joining them on the finish line. It was a real team effort, even though they lost the fourth man with a couple of laps ago. That was all part of the plan. And he will, of course, be on the podium with them as well to take the title. All four riders get the medals, even though one of them did not complete the distance. That's all part of the way the team pursuit plays out. And a little bit of tears being wiped away there, I think, from the Australians as well. They are a very happy bunch of riders. And that feeling, Christina, when you win a world medal, there's not a lot like it, is there? Particularly when you've also taken the world record at the same time.
You see it in their faces, how they're so proud, and this moment is definitely them, because it's here, huh? When you are fast and you win, you have no pain, and when you lose, and then you have so much pain, and you want to lie in the in the corner in your box. So yeah, you see the faces; they are so happy, and they're it's delighted.
Yeah, that was an incredible performance. Well, we did suggest that the world record may fall, and indeed it did, in that dominating performance from Australia on the way to the world title. The congratulations and thanks to the coach as well, who of course is part and parcel of the team to make sure they could deliver that time. It's all about the training, it's all about the coaching, it's all about the practice, and at the end of the day it is all about those four riders on the track who have delivered a world record performance on the way to their gold medal. Sam Welsford, Kellen O'Brien, Lee Howard and Alexander Porter are new world champions and world record holders for Australia. Second place in the silver medal for Great Britain, and third place for Denmark. They will take the bronze medal at the end of what was a scintillating men's team pursuit competition. The rest of the teams ranked in the finishing order further down the standings, as you can see, and we will be, of course, be bringing you our medal ceremony a little bit later on this evening, when we'll be able to join in the celebrations with the Australian team as they receive their well-earned reward on our presentation podium. So much more to come from that team pursuit competition. Of course, so we've also got the final of the women's team pursuit, which will bring our competitive programme of racing to an end here this evening. But now we're going to refocus our attention on the women's sprint competition. Seems a little while ago since we had the first matches in this one, but we're now going to resume the action that began earlier in the evening with the first exchanges in the women's sprint. Best of three, of course. As we were discussing with Christina at the start of this one, it's always good from a psychological point of view to get the first win under your belt. And the rider who achieved it in the first heat was Stephanie Morton. I'll remind Christina it's her tip for the top, as if she needs reminding, that she's predicted that Stephanie Morton will improve on her silver medal performance from the last couple of years, and of course Christina overcame her on both those occasions to take the world title. And it is perhaps her year to shine, but she's got to get the better of Elena Starikova. Starikova will be inspired now to try and hit back. She couldn't outpace Morton, who played the first match to perfection tactically. She stayed behind Starikova and just accelerated around the outside, using the height of the track to her advantage. So Christina, going to this second match, what will be going through Elena Starikova's mind now? How can she possibly get the better of Stephanie Morton?
Yeah, in a time while a bit in between the heats, she got to her coach, she see the heat and then analyzes a bit. So she could be there have to be just a big surprise. I don't know what she could do against Stephanie Morton, because at the moment Stephanie is just on a different world while sprinting. She's so unbelievably fast, and yeah, when you see the qualification against Starikova and Stephanie Morton, she went so fast. I bet on Stephanie that she will beat my world record so far, and I hope. Oh, you see a surprise, huh?
Well, we should see that. Let's see what happens. Here is Elena Starikova. She's taken this one on from the sprint again, from the front again, as Stephanie Morton once again employing the height of the track, going into the banking now. She begins to draw level as they go down the back straight. Elena Starikova on the underneath position here from the Ukraine, coming over the top. Stephanie Morton, they're on the run to the line here. Can Morton do it again? It's going to be close once again, but yes, in 2 straight rides, Stephanie Morton of Australia makes smooth progress in the women's sprint quarterfinals into the draw for the semis. 2-0. She beats Elena Starikova of the Ukraine, almost a carbon copy of the first encounter, with Morton coming from the second position and outpacing Elena Starikova to the line. It was close, no question about that, but here you see in the replay Christina Morton coming over the top of Starikova, and she had the greater pace and the run to the finish line.
What Stephanie did was really hurting, because I think that Stephanie didn't thought that Starikova go full gas, and she tried to make a gap to build up the slipstream, but then she realized, oh my god, she go full gas, and yeah, she overtake her in the beginning of the corner. That means that she has a really longer way to overtake her, and that was hurting definitely.
It was, but there you see the result. Those 2 green dots next to Stephanie Morton means that she is the winner of match 1 and match 2. No necessity for a decider in that one. Heat number 2 will feature Wang Jili of Hong Kong, China, and Anastasia Voinova from the Russian Federation. As you can see, Wang Jili was the winner of the first encounter. So Anastasia Voinova, in a similar position to Elena Starikova, needs to try and overcome Wang Jili to force a third and decisive encounter. There is Wang Jili on your screen, and there is Anastasia Voinova. Those reflective visors that the sprinters favour these days. You can no longer stare into the whites of the eyes of your opponent, because all you see is your own reflection back at yourself. But it's all part of the psychology, all part of the tactical battle there. You can see the view reflected in that visor. How much does that little tactic when you're sitting on the start line, Christina, how much of a psychological advantage can you gain just by giving your opponent a 1,000-yard stare and trying to outwit them even before you've started the ride?
A lot, because in that moment, yeah, I always trying to build up my anger for the race, and you analyze the heart rate, and are your girl, is it nervous or not? Is she confident or not? And yeah, I just remember the view I had against Vicky. To my gold final in Rio de Janeiro. So yeah, I've tried eating her with my view, but it's from the beginning on. You always have the fight from the chair, and I always trying to sit next to my yeah, can I say rival, to make her and then not confident situation. You know, let's feel comfy.
Yep, so it is tactics, it is speed, it is psychology, it is all to play for in sprinting. That's what makes it one of the purest forms of track cycling. Rider against rider here, the best of 3. And Wang Jili off the back of that great World Cup campaign. First came to our attention, of course, at the Olympics back in 2012, and certainly a really strong competitor for Hong Kong, China. Of course, hosted the world titles back in 2017. So Wai Li content to sit just behind Anastasia Voinova at the moment as they roll through at the end of a very measured opening lap. So Wai Li content to sit behind her opponents at the moment. The element of surprise is definitely on her side currently. Voinova out of the saddle first, beginning to lift the pace. A little look over both shoulders. Not quite sure which way to look. Wai Li still higher on the track than Voinova. At the bell, it is full commitment time now. Wai Li launching herself on the back wheel of Anastasia Voinova, and here they go down the back straight. Wai Li of Hong Kong, China, out of the saddle, coming over the top. Once again, she's going to outpace Anastasia Voinova to the line. And we're going to see another progress in this competition in 2 straight rides. This time it's Wai Li of Hong Kong, China, who beats Anastasia Voinova, again outpacing her and outplaying her tactically perhaps as well for that second win. So she too is through into the semi-finals. Wai Li of Hong Kong, China, beating Anastasia Voinova of Russian Federation, again in 2 straight rides. So going to plan for Wai Li at the moment, Christina, and both well-judged rides to take her into the semi-finals.
That's my bet, that Sarah Wai Li will win the silver medal in sprint tomorrow. But you see that Anastasia trying to make slowly the heat to accelerate, because she is a 500-meter rider. She really kind of really good, but she forgot, or you didn't see that Sarah was so fast in the last round to go that she just overtake her with so much speed that there was no chance to win half lap to go for her.
Well, Christina's already decided the gold and silver medal for tomorrow. Yes. All we need to now is to decide who the bronze medalist will be. We don't want to have a day off. But no, of course, we have still got 2 more heats in these quarterfinals to decide who's going to go into the semi-finals, which of course is all part of the key to actually taking you into the eventual finals for the gold and silver medals. The riders for heat number 3, Mathilde Gross of France. She had a bit of a scare in the first encounter. She took on Lorraine van Riesen of the Netherlands. Van Riesen looked as though she almost had it as they came to the line. Gross had to commit herself absolutely full on in that final quarter of a lap to overhaul Van Riesen. So Van Riesen won't be disheartened, I don't think, by that. She knows she's got the pace to take on Gross, and she also outplayed her tactically by snatching away the sprinter's line from Gross in the final 3 quarters of a lap. And Gross pretty much committing a cardinal sin in the world of sprinting by leaving that sprinter's line open, and Van Riesen willingly took the inside line, and Gross had to fight really hard to get back against her. So I think Lorraine van Riesen here, Christina, will be hopeful and indeed perhaps have a little bit of confidence that perhaps she can again outplay Mathilde Gross tactically and try and force a decider in this one.
Yeah, here competing a former ice speed skater and a former basketball player. That's a fun fact, huh? But Lorraine van Riesen, as a former ice speed skater, she is having brilliant speed. So she trying to accelerate step by step, and she's not going slower to the finish line. But Mathilde was so fast in the qualification that normally, when there's no surprise, that Lorraine van Riesen has no chance. But
well, Gross is the bronze medalist at the European Sprint Championships in Glasgow last year at the Chris Hoy Velodrome, and she begins to accelerate. She's not going to make the same mistake twice, I don't think, and Van Riesen is under pressure now. She's going to try and close the gap to the back wheel of the French rider here. Mathilde Gross taking this one on early, and as they come around to approach the finish line, there is no way back this time for Lorraine van Riesen, and that was a more confident victory for Mathilde Gross on that occasion. Well, she learnt from the error in the first match, and I guess that you can ask more than that. If you make a mistake, then you make sure you don't make it twice, and that's exactly what Mathilde Gross did, and she has overcome Lorraine van Riesen in 2 straight rides. You can see the delight on the face of the European bronze medalist, but she was pressed hard, particularly in that first match, but eventually coming through again in 2 straight rides to progress into the semi-finals. Mathilde Gross beating Lorraine van Riesen in match number 2.
Yeah, I've seen that Mathilde Gross was scared for a battle, so she trying to not to have a tactical battle against Lorraine van Riesen to make it, the victory, the win, but for the seat really clear.
So there you see the head-on shot as they come down the finishing straight. and Matilda Graswell in the first match. She was absolutely gripping the handlebars for all she was worth to force the pace, but that time she had the lead and was confident that she'd keep it, and that's exactly what she did. Loreen van Riesen couldn't quite match the pace of Gros in that final lap. So she will exit from this sprint competition at this stage, and we will bring the riders for our fourth and final heat to the track. The rider who was the winner in the first match is the one you see on your screen here. Representing Germany, this is Lea Sophie Friedrich. She is the World Junior Keirin Team Sprint and Sprint Champion for the world titles in Aigle in Switzerland last year. Her opponent is Tania Calvo of Spain, a Spanish sprint 500-meter time and Keirin champion in her time as well. So it was a great battle won by Lea Sophie Friedrich. Remember, she is still a junior rider. So will the greater experience of Tania Calvo prove decisive this time, or can Lea Sophie Friedrich progress into the semi-final? Christine has already said she can see a little bit of herself in Lea Sophie Friedrich, and when she was a junior as well, and of course benefiting from the hugely experienced German team that's brought her up to this level. And, she'll take great confidence from that first win against Tania Calvo. So what can Calvo do here, do we think, to try and force this one to a decider? She knows Lea Sophie Friedrich's got a great turn of pace, so she's up the front now. Will she stay there, do you think?
When Tania wanted to win, she better keep that heat, better keep the speed really slow, that you can surprise Lea Sophie Friedrich. But Lea Sophie had a good pace, so I think she will start now to accelerate and yeah, to bring her more in danger, Tania, that she go forward and push her, that she can accelerate and do much more for her own speediness.
Well, of course, she's a junior world champion, but she's still learning, isn't she, the art of sprinting, just 19 years of age, and she is occupying the higher position on the track here at the moment, with Tania Calvo trying her best to keep her there. But Lea Sophie Friedrich dives for that sprinter's line, drops inside Calvo. Friedrich begins to accelerate away. We're coming around to the bell this time and a lap to go. Tania Calvo trying to find a way around Lea Sophie Friedrich. The German rider has the lead. The junior world champion is on the front. She's out of the saddle. She accelerates. Calvo tries to close the gap, but Lea Sophie Friedrich, well, she has the advantage going down the back straight. Calvo absolutely giving all she's got here to try and come around Lea Sophie Friedrich. She knows she has to win to force a decider, but on the line it will be 2 straight wins for the German junior world champion. Lea Sophie Friedrich progresses into the sprint semi-finals, beating Tania Calvo in 2 straight rides, and much to the delight of the German camp, as you would imagine, Christina. Another very confident performance from Lea Sophie Friedrich.
Brilliant for your first elite world championships to be in the semi-final. It was a fantastic heat. There are just little things I could say she could do it better, but now I hope she had a good rest night, because tomorrow she will have the semi-final against Stephanie Morton, and this will be a really, really hard fight.
Well, are we confident yet to predict that she might be in luck with a medal tomorrow, or we're going to wait and see what happens? But it's definitely a very good performance, and she is in with a very good chance indeed. A very, very well-judged ride from Lea Sophie Friedrich, and as Christina said, you can see 1 or 2 areas where she can improve her performance. And as I said at the beginning of the commentary, remember, she's still only a junior rider, and she's continuing to build her experience every time she takes on another rider on the track. But what a great performance for her and the women's sprint. And that competition will continue with the semi-finals, and that will be during the course of competition here tomorrow on day 3 of these 2019 Track Cycling World Championships presented by Tissot. And the competition programme this evening, well, it's been no shortage of excitement, and still plenty to come. We've still, of course, got the final of the women's team pursuit to be contested. We've got the men's scratch race final coming up, and of course we've got the men's Keirin final as well. So our first bunch race of today's session, it's the men's scratch race final. We saw a great victory for Great Britain yesterday in the women's scratch race when it was Anna Barker of Great Britain who defeated Kirsten Wild of the Netherlands into second place, and the rider from Belgium finishing in third place, Jean Indoor. So that was the way the women's scratch played out yesterday. That was contested over 10 kilometres or 40 laps of the track. The men's final, slightly longer distance, 15 kilometres, 60 laps of the track. You can see the lineup of riders here being displayed upon your screen as the riders come to the track and get themselves ready to line up for the start of this men's scratch race final. So there was no qualification rounds in this, it's a straight final. In theory, the first three riders across the line will take the medals, gold, silver and bronze. However, it can become more complicated than that because riders begin to gain laps and overhaul their opponents. Then your winning rider could be amongst the bunch if that lap gain happens towards the end of the race. So we'll keep our eye very carefully focused on proceedings for you. 24 riders taking the start in this one. The defending world champion amongst them, the man who took the title in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands just on 12 months ago. You just see the rider there from Greece, Christos Volikakis. He was third in the World Keirin title as long ago as 2008. You're thinking the Keirin rider riding the scratch race? Well, he's a sprinter turned endurance rider in recent years. It's Christos Volikakis, the man you see on your screen there, representing Greece at these World Championships. He took a great win in the scratch race in Cambridge in New Zealand at the beginning of the year. You see that reflected on his on-screen statistics there. 30 years of age, another rider to keep a careful eye on here from Belarus. He is the current world champion, defending his title, 22 years of age, won the title in Apeldoorn 12 months ago when he overcame the man who took the silver medal, and he's right behind him. There he is, Michele Scartazzini of Italy. He's also European Team Pursuit title winner last year, 27 years of age. Scartazzini will be hoping to take one step further on the podium this year and take the world title. It's a very good field indeed that's assembled for this men's scratch race final. And our race officials just make sure everyone's in their allotted place. Australia represented here by Sam Welsford, 23 years of age. Sam Welsford, the Commonwealth Games scratch race champion, Gold Coast in Australia last year. And there is home favourite. Will be cheered on by the crowd here. That is Adrian Tolinsky, the 2017 World Scratch Race winner when the title took place in Hong Kong, China at the Hong Kong Velodrome. So he's another rider definitely to keep your eye on. I can absolutely guarantee you the crowd will be doing their best to try and cheer Adrian Tolinsky home for another world title. But he's going to have his work cut out here. It's a very strong field indeed, and it'll be a worthy winner, no doubt, at the end of the final when the winner crosses the line. France represented by Adrien Garel, who was bronze medal winner in the World Cup scratch race in Paris that began the World Cup season in October of last year. You can see the leg of the Belarusian, the rider who was looking to defend this title, Yahuni Karyalok. He's also the Belarus national points and scratch race champion for this year. Those titles defended quite recently in Belarus for the national competition. And he's also a former European under-23 scratch race winner as well. So he's definitely got the form behind him, as Yahuni Karyalok didn't have perhaps the most success he was hoping for when he contested a couple of rounds of the World Cup. Wasn't quite able to wear that rainbow jersey in the World Cup scratch races to deliver a victory, but he'll be hoping this evening he can put himself in a position to take another world title. Not very often that riders manage to win consecutive titles. The lady sitting alongside me, of course, Christina Vogel, is one of those riders who definitely achieved that during the course of her incredible racing career. But the pressure will be on Karyalok, Christina. He is the defending champion, and his World Cup campaign perhaps not quite as good as he'd hoped. So he'll be looking to try and maybe make an early move here and try and show his authority as the defending champion in this men's scratch race final.
It's always that difficult thing when you're wearing the world champion jersey, these magical rainbow stripes. You are the best preparated person in the tournament in the field, because everyone's looking on these stripes. So it's hard, to make movements or catches or acceleration without other people seeing it. So to be in the world jersey, so in that rainbow jersey, could be harder than riding without them.
Well, speaking of making a move here, it is a rider from the Russian Federation, Maxim Piskunov, who has gone clear at the head of the race very early to go on the attack here with just 4 laps completed. But Piskunov is the Russian Madison champion from a couple of years ago. And is also former European under-23 Madison champion. The difference here, of course, he's not got a teammate to swing into the action, so he's committed himself here. His objective will be to try to snatch a lap at the early stage of the race and put the pressure on the rest of the field. Roman Gladish, the European scratch race champion, is pursuing him. The rider in the colours of the Ukraine, third place at the moment for Roy Efting, riding for the Netherlands in those orange colours. He's sitting at the top of the track, and they're all back together. The defending champion at the front and the centre of the race there as they go through the line with 54 laps still to go. So early days, yes, that little testing move there from the rider from Russian Federation, Maxim Piskunov. He's now back into the group, and on the front we see a new rider trying to press home his advantage. It's Thomas Sexton of New Zealand, the Oceania Team Pursuit champion of this year, also the winner of the Madison in the final round of the World Cup in Hong Kong, China. A little group of 4 riders beginning to apply some pressure. Christos Volikakis just ahead of Adrian Hejvari of the United States of America. Hejvari is the Pan-American Madison and Scratch Race champion of 2018, and he's beginning to apply extra pressure to the pedals here. So the United States also being swept up once more as France lead an attacking group. Switzerland get in amongst the action as well. For Switzerland, it's Mauro Schmidt, who is a former junior champion on the road and time trial in Switzerland, so he's amongst the leaders here. New Zealand on the front with Thomas Sexton. Those 4 have opened up a little bit of a lead now ahead of the rest of the field. They're beginning to stretch out in pursuit of those 4 leading riders. 49 laps to go. The other member of that leading group in the colours of Great Britain, that is Matthew Walls, the European Elimination Race champion, and also the winner of the British Omnium title just a couple of weeks ago in the National Championships in Great Britain. Is a European under-23 scratch race champion last year in the European titles. Matty Walls on the front for Great Britain, but those leaders once again have been brought back into the fold. The race regrouping, 1 or 2 little chinks of daylight further down the field, but they're all coming back together. They swing up the track. The pace has been taken out of this for just for a few moments, but an indication perhaps, Christina, at the start of the ride, we might be seeing in contention towards the finish of this one. We saw a brief glimpse of the defending champion, Matty Walls of Great Britain, would love to take the world title as well. And of course, Thomas Sexton riding well for New Zealand, but they're all back together again now with 47 laps to go.
We had a really hectic few rounds, but now you see that the field is going closer together, and it is always a sign that the speediness is not that fast. And here we see they're trying to little group go out of the field and to make a gap.
Yeah, you can see that when the pace drops, because the riders occupy the full width of the track. When it's absolutely full gas, then it's an arrowhead formation, one long line of riders. But the ballet moves continue as they sweep up and down the track at the moment. Still early stage, of course, still 45 laps to go in this men's scratch race final. We're seeing the first showing here from a rider from Ireland, although he's actually born in Brighton in Great Britain. That is Felix English riding this championship for the nation of Ireland. Felix English, great in the Madison in a World Cup and in Los Angeles a couple of years ago. And he's also former circuit race champion of Great Britain and the 2017 Irish Omnium champion, which of course includes the scratch race, the first element of the Omnium competition. So English in the dark green colours of Ireland with the black stripes down the side. Again, he is back into that group once more. More riders having a little look at the front of the action here. And the man just driving through the line there in the colours of Austria is Stefan Matzner. He won the scratch race in the first round of the World Cup at St. Quentin in Italy in Paris at the end of last year. Also third in the European Point Race Championships in Glasgow in 2018. Once again, little group begin to force the move on the front of that group, and beginning to try and pull them away is the current world champion, Yahini Karilok, defending his title here. He knows he needs to get amongst the moves and not let anyone sneak away. As we mentioned at the beginning of the race, he needs to be very watchful indeed. As Christina said, you've got a bit of a big target in the middle of your back when you're a current defending champion. The rest of the race will be looking very carefully at what you are doing. So too looking carefully are the coaches at trackside as well. They line the back straight to the track here. If a rider has a problem, they can actually pull out of the race for up to 1.3 kilometers to get that rectified if they have a puncture or something like that. Again, 3 riders begin to pile on the pressure. Once again, it's Sexton, New Zealand, Walls of Great Britain, and now they've also been joined by the rider from France, from Italy as well in that group. As once again behind that leading group, the rest of the field come back together. But that gap, the French rider, the last of that leading group, but they've swung up, and once again the string will come back together. The race will rejoin in the back straight. 38 laps to go. So a very cagey start here, and an interesting way that the race has developed so far. No one wanting to spend too much time on the front, expend unnecessary energy, because of course it's a relatively short race, the scratch race final, compared with the Madison, the point race they'll contest later in these World Championships. But you know that if you commit yourself to try and gain a lap, it expends a great deal of energy on a track of 250 metres, and if that eventually proves to be a futile attempt at the lap gain, then you could find yourself running out of energy in the final sprint. So the tactics continue. Still no advantage gain. A little move here as a rider drops out of the line at the top of the track and takes a position in the lower part of the track, on the well of the track. This is the rider from Ukraine who has gone away here. Roman Gladish is the European scratch race champion. He won that title in Glasgow last year. Matty Walls of Great Britain, he's been very notable in the action so far. Walls first to monitor that move from Gladish, and he once again is back in the fold, and it is Matzner of Austria just ahead of the rider from Belgium, Moreno de Pau, rider who took the bronze medal in the World Madison titles in 2017, one of the stars of the 6-day circuit as well as Moreno de Pau. He knows exactly how to ride a point race as well. Matty Walls on the front, Christos Volikakis just behind him, and in third place at the moment Roman Gladish. Once again the race comes all back together, so the riders going up and down the track. It's almost like the laps at the start of a 6-day before the racing begins, where they wave to the crowd, isn't it? They're using the full width of the track at the moment, but it's interesting that no one wants to commit to try and gain the lap at this stage. That's the reason we said that if you try and do that and you don't make the move, then you can find yourself with no energy in the final sprint if it does come down to all the riders vying for that final run to the line.
You see that all the guys are trying to find the group, but it's not working. As long as it's so hectic and the field is going so fast, it's hard to make the gap between you and the field. But yeah, it would be fun, to make a clap.
Yeah, well, last year's silver medalist, Michele Scottazzini, who we flagged up for you at the beginning of our coverage of this particular race, has now found himself at the head of the race along with Moreno de Pau of Belgium. Little gap then, Adrian Hejvari chasing in third place for the United States of America. Just behind him is the rider who is representing France here, Adrien Garel, and they've also got Thomas Sexton once again. So that little group of Italy, United States, Belgium, France and New Zealand, but trying to close the gap once again is Felix English from Ireland, accompanied by Matt Walls of Great Britain and Christos Volikakis. The rider from Greece, as we mentioned, he began his racing career as a sprinter and actually was involved in a world Keirin bronze medal back in 2008, but they've turned his attention to the longer distance endurance racing, and certainly profiting from some good performances in the World Cup this year. Felix English on the front, doesn't want to take it on either, swings to the top of the track, looks down, waits for the next rider to make a move. The team of Russian Federation on the front. Once again, Matt Walls of Great Britain just behind in second place as the formation continues. We're past the halfway mark. There are 26 laps to go in the men's scratch race World Championship final. Still altogether, still impossible to pick a potential winner at the moment. We've seen several groups try to go clear. They've never gained more than a handful of metres advantage ahead of the chasing peloton. You've got to think as the laps continue to tick away, and we'll be heading toward 25 laps to go this time, that any move that happens now will have to try and gain the riders a lap, because if you hanging off the front for several laps, and then the field catch you back, then you can go and find yourself going backwards very, very quickly indeed. Just watching the rider from the Czech Republic there, just moving his position up a little further. That's Nicholas Petrula of Czech Republic, the Czech individual pursuit and team pursuit champion for last year. Once again, the string of riders parading around the top of the track. Russian Federation dropped down at the back of the bunch. So too does Czech Republic. Well, we were looking at Nicholas Petrula a few moments ago, and he's come to the head of the race now. The first time he's been on the front of the bunch. Petrula beginning to try and drag out an advantage, but once again, Moreno de Pau of Belgium, Matt Walls of Great Britain, and the defending champion Yahuni Karaliok of Belarus are equal to the challenge, and they briefly came back together, but the rider from Czech Republic here is determined to try and go away. 22 laps to go, but a strong challenge coming over the top, and it's Hong Kong China who are taking this one on. This is Kaiyu Leung, the Hong Kong scratch race champion for 2017, one of the riders who have been just sitting at the back of the group so far, but this is a big attack here, and he's gaining ground quite rapidly here, Christina, so a good move here from Hong Kong China, but is it too early?
It is too early. There's still 21 laps to go, so yeah, never say never, huh? But you see the gap is going slowly and slowly. I don't know. You see, he's in the front, and the rest, I think, don't want to flee and don't want to close the gap to him.
The danger, of course, is you begin to look around at the riders when you're in the main field, looking around the riders alongside you, and the rider who's on the front, you think, okay, we'll leave him out there to hang out the front and to tire himself out, but you suddenly find him gaining ground rather rapidly, and of course, if you get the lap gain, that is you leading the race in the scratch race, even though you may find yourself crossing the line at the end in the midst of the bunch, but he's got two riders in hot pursuit now with 19 laps to go in this men's scratch race World Championship final. Hong Kong China on the front for Leung, and it's Christos Volikakis trying to get across the gap with Roman Gladish of the Ukraine. Once again, Thomas Sexton, he's been omnipresent at the front of the race here for New Zealand. The Swiss rider closing the gap as well, and Maro Schmidt, as once again the race comes back together. Felix English finds himself at the bottom of the track and making the pace. So to the rider from the Ukraine, who sweeps down to take up the lead position towards the back of the race. Moreno de Pau sits there for Belgium, also for the Netherlands towards the back of the bunch. We've not seen him to move too far forward yet. That's Roy Efting, who will be hoping that once again he can fly the flag for the Dutch nation towards the end of this race. Once again, the attacking move from Stefan Matzner of Austria going clear now. He has for company Christian Lavassi from Hungary. Well, Lavassi again, first time on the front for him as well, and Lavassi second in the European scratch titles in 2017, so don't underestimate the power of the Hungarian here. He's got the advantage along with Matzers. Chasing in third place is the defending champion. Moreno de Pau has gone from the back of the race right to the front of this chasing group here. He has realised the danger with 15 laps to go. These two riders are working well together at the moment, and both sharing the effort involved. You see a little change, almost like a team pursuit amongst the two of them. They know they've got to try and cooperate at the moment to maintain the advantage, but Moreno de Pau is absolutely committed himself to closing the gap. Here he comes, the Belgian rider has ridden across the gap from the main field to our two leaders. De Pau latches on to the lead group. He comes through, and there is the defending champion, Yahuni Karaliok of Belarus. He too wants to get there. This is the biggest lead we have seen so far in the race. 13 laps to go. The main field must surely realise the danger now these four riders present, particularly as it includes the defending world champion from Belarus. Those four are together, the head of the race. Launching off the front of the chasing group now is the rider from China. He too wants in on the action. That's Liang Guo, the winner of the scratch race in Hong Kong just a couple of weeks ago. But our four leading riders split into two groups. It is De Pau and Matzner just ahead of the other two riders who are closing back up once again. And the four of them desperate to try and gain a lap. Little three-man chasing group. That's Felix English, Matt Walls and Christos Volikakis chasing here, but still on the front of the race and driving hard is the rider from Hungary, Christian Lavassi. And Moreno de Pau also does his little effort here, which has distanced the other three. The gap here now to the next three chasers, English, Walls and Volikakis, is shortening. Three more chasers coming across the gap, led by France. In the middle of that group also is another rider looking to move up. up is Thomas Sexton once again here for New Zealand, along with Adrian Hejvari from the United States. The only result of all of that pressure being applied is once again they're going to come back together with 8 laps to go. Well, now that move looked promising for a little while, but the main field responded. They gradually closed the gap, and once again the main field predominantly together. Just 2 riders being distanced here. 2 we saw on the attack earlier in the race, so off the back now, Hong Kong, China and Czech Republic. We're here at the head of the race once again. The attack for the second time of asking. The rider who is really trying to press home his advantage here is on the front of the bunch. They go down the back straight. There you see a head-on shot. He's gained the gap over the 5 chasers behind. There are 6 laps to go. Is this riding towards a potential gold medal here for our leading rider? It is Rui Oliveira from Portugal. He's left it late in the race, but may just be the ideal time to try and take a world title. 6 laps to go. It is the rider from Portugal, Rui Oliveira, the Portuguese Madison champion, a former under-23 road race champion of Portugal, who is on the front. Matty Walls leads Christian Volokakis and Moreno de Pau at the front of the chasing group, but it's still Portugal. Almost the length of the back straight is the advantage with 5 laps to go. He's got those 2 lagging riders from Hong Kong, China and the Czech Republic in his sights, but this was an unsurprising move from Rui Oliveira. It took the rest of the field a little bit by surprise. They saw him very rapidly take the advantage, and they're busy looking at each other still here, Christian, with a kilometre to go. It is looking good here for Portugal for a potential world title. So the rider from Portugal, Rui Oliveira, and now here comes the attack from main field. It is Adrian Hejvari from the United States of America. Matt Walls of Great Britain is in 3rd place. Volokakis on his wheel, then China in 4th place. At the front, the leading rider is past the 2 back markers, and there are just 2 laps to go now. So this could be a real upset here. Portugal are on course for a gold medal, but here comes the attack from the main field. Is it too late? Thomas Sexton comes over the top for New Zealand as they come in with a lap to go. The bellwether's time is tiring now. Is Oliveira, but he's only got 250 metres and a world title lies ahead. Thomas Sexton leads the chasing group. Roy Eefting of the Netherlands left it late, but here he comes around the outside. Eefting is on the attack here as well, and so to Australia for Sam Welsford, and he's caught within sight of the line. Sam Welsford of Australia comes over the top and takes the title. Roy Eefting gets 2nd and Thomas Sexton 3rd. Well, it almost looked with half a lap to go as Rui Oliveira was going to be your world champion, but such was the pace of the chase group led by Sam Welsford. He brought it home once again for Australia, and well he might celebrate. Australia have the world title and the gold medal. Sam Welsford is the winner of the men's scratch race final. Whoa, Christina, I'm breathless with the commentary on that one. What a race that was.
What a race, huh? A perfect timing for him so far. Yeah, the poor Oliveira from Portugal, he is a good individual pursuit rider, so I think he's trying to make his own individual pursuit, but at the end he was not fast enough. Maybe it was too early for him, but just brilliant when you believe a half lap to go that you can win that medal. It works so good for him.
Yeah, it must be a very disheartening experience to suddenly find the whole field are on top of you with just a quarter of a lap to go, but that was the fate that befell Rui Oliveira. He eventually finished in 5th place, just behind Christos Volokakis, who secured 4th. Bronze for Thomas Sexton of New Zealand, silver for Roy Eefting. Told you to look out for Eefting of the Netherlands. He just sat, rode a patient race towards the back and moved when the time was right, but it's the man you see on your screen here, Sam Welsford, leading that charge. Here's Welsford. There's Oliveira caught within sight of the final banking, and a little look over the shoulder for Welsford before he starts the celebration, even before he's crossed the line. He knows he has got a world title now, the scratch race champion of the world. Look at the speed he went past Oliveira as he came around the corner there, but Eefting was really digging deep to try and overhaul Welsford. Welsford celebrations well before the line, so Sam Welsford is your world scratch race champion, whichever way you replay that. So look at that, Sam Welsford celebrating as well he might. Well, I wouldn't say he could barely believe it, but well, he knew he was in a race in that final lap. And you've got to have a great deal of confidence to catch back a rider who had such a lead that Oliveira had with a lap to go. As Christina said, Oliveira, a good individual pursuiter. Didn't think he could take it on if it came down to a sprint. It was a good move from Oliveira to try and take it on with 5 or 6 laps to go. But in the final analysis, the great pace of Sam Welsford, the Commonwealth Games scratch race winner from the Gold Coast in Australia in 2018. Well, he's now the world champion. He is going to receive the rainbow jersey, the gold medal, and the title of World Scratch Race Champion. That, I think, Christina, is a very happy young man from Australia.
You see him smiling, big over his face. It's incredible. So when you have these last fight to the finish line, you know, you are more happier, extra happier, because at the end it works. So what I told, at the end is the end. You know, you have to fight to the finish line. As long you're not seeing could it work or not, but it was a good fight. And I was surprised, a good way from the Dutch, because he always trying to be not in the front, to catch good back wheels, to spare the shape and the speediness to the last seat. Can I say last seat? Yeah. So and he's trying to keep the back wheel of the Australian man. But just second. It works for him, I think, so far.
Yeah, Thomas Sexton. Well, he was in almost every attacking move that went, and he was credited at the end of that with the third place and the bronze medal. I'm sure he'd have liked to be on the top step of the podium, but Roy Efting was in a real battle here with Sam Welsford. There is poor Rui Oliveira being overhauled literally between corner 3 and 4 before the winner came into the finishing straight. A look over the shoulder, and the celebrations pumping the air in triumph. He knows now he is the world champion, and he will forever have those rainbow stripes on his jersey. The rest of the Australian team, as you would imagine, are pretty pleased as well. Things are going well for the Australians at these world titles, and they're joining in the celebrations. I imagine it will be quite a happy camp wherever the Australians are staying here in Poland. And of course, we're only on day 2 of these World Championships, still 3 days to go. So certainly the potential for more medals to head down under for the Australians as we look down on the track centre.
Yeah, it seems that when you're an Australian rider, you better win, huh? So we have a team sprint gold so far. We have the girls, they are also winning.
So I think we can go down and grab an interview with our rider who took the victory. So let's head down to the track centre. There are very happy Australian team pursuers.
Performance, new world record, 3 minutes 48 seconds, point 29 or 19. Can you bring us a bit inside here? How did it unfold exactly?
We're all a bit lost for words. I'm a bit lost for words still. It was, we come in here and this is a stepping stone for us towards the Tokyo Olympics. We knew we were in good form, but to be honest, I don't think any of us expected to go that fast. I think after last night, we knew we were close to the world record. But yeah, to knock almost 2 seconds off is mind-blowing. And I couldn't have asked for a better team to do it with, you know. I'm just blown away.
You're a very young team, I mean, around your 20s, already very experienced in terms of medals and track records. That's very impressive as well.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've got some boys in here that yet to turn 21, and you know, to be doing what we're doing, it's pretty remarkable. But we've just got such a special group here, not just all the boys here, all the staff behind the scenes. We've all got one goal in mind, and just having everyone working towards that. It's, you know, we're going out there doing something special, and we just want to keep building on this.
You're probably the youngest among the team at 20-year-old. We've seen you celebrating incredibly high. I mean, that was a really big joy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like the boys said, you know, this is a special team, and to do something like this tonight, it's, yeah, I'm lost for words.
Sam, that's even special, more special for you. You took part in two races, 2 gold medals. Now with the scratch, that's just amazing. That's really special.
Yeah, pretty stoked to take that scratchy. You know, I went in there just trying to test the legs out and hide for the first half, and then see if I could, you know, stable my way through the last couple of laps. And yeah, lucky enough, got the win. But you know, winning that team pursuit, the world record time, caps any of my wins ever. So, you know, we got a real special group here, and you know, this is just the beginning for us, and yeah, I couldn't be happier.
That team pursuit performance, this world record is definitely a very strong message ahead of the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, look, very, very grateful to be part of this team. I wasn't out there on the track tonight, but it was just as good to, you know, watch it from the infield, and it's something that I'll never forget.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you.
Well, some happy Australians. And some other happy Australian as well from that men's crutch race final as well. They really are having a great championship so far. We're only in day 2. So we'll see that victory ceremony a little later. Here's a replay of Sam Welsford's victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony of the UCI Track Cycling World Championship presented by Tissot for the men's team pursuit event. Panie i panowie, prosimy o uwagę. Rozpoczynamy ceremonię wręczenia medali Tissot Mistrzostw Świata w kolarstwie torowym w wyścigu drużynowym na dochodzenie mężczyzn.
So our victory ceremony for the men's team pursuit. Medals and jersey were presented by Tony Kirsch, a member of the UCI Management Committee. And he'll begin with the presentation of the bronze medals to the team of Denmark. Lasse Norman Hansen, Julius Johansson and Rasmus Pedersen, Kasper von Folsack, and Niklas Larsen also rode in the previous rounds, and they will receive the bronze medals.
Rasmus Pedersen and Kasper von Folsack.
Well, this is one of those victory ceremonies that takes a little while because you've got at least 12 riders on the podium, maybe more sometimes when riders have ridden the previous round and also qualified to receive a medal, of course. So Tony Kirsch, member of the UCI Management Committee, is charged with the responsibility of delivering the medals, and of course ultimately for the Australian team, those much sought after rainbow jerseys of world champions. So the Danes receiving their bronze medals, smiling. It's always great to get a medal of whatever colour. So the silver medal winners, defending champions, couldn't quite hang on to the title, but they get a silver this time. It's a team of Great Britain: Ethan Hayter, Ed Clancy, Kian Amadi, Charlie Tanfield and Oliver Wood, who rode one of the previous rounds of the competition. So 5 riders from Great Britain to receive the medals. There is big Ed Clancy, as we mentioned during commentary, one of the most consistent riders in the British cycling team. Once again on the podium at a World Championship, receiving a medal. Kian Amadi gets his silverware as well.
Always so delighted moments when you, the first time you can touch a medal and see it, and yeah, be so happy and so pleased. And of course, it's not just the person descending the podium, it's a teamwork. It's the mechanics, the field traffic, the coach, nutrition. So day by day, week by week, it's a hard work. And yeah.
So to receive the gold medals, and along with it, of course, they set a new world record. It is the team of Australia: Sam Welsford, Kelland O'Brien, Lee Howard, Alexander Porter and Cameron Scott. So Sam Welsford receiving the first of 2 gold medals he'll receive here this evening, having just completed that scratch race final. You wouldn't think it, look at him, he looks very calm and collected. It's a great performance from this team. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, had they not had that ride against New Zealand, where they caught them in the closing stages and had to kind of work the way through. They might have beat the world record in one of the preceding rounds, but there was no doubt they beat it in that final against Great Britain and set a new world mark in the process, defeating what was their own record that stood since April 2018, taking it in Brisbane in the home nation of Australia. So they're pulling on those rainbow jerseys. And once they are safely installed, the next order of business will be those gold medals. And we'll do the presentation of the other gifts as well that are bestowed upon medal winners in these World Championships. It's nice to hear the national anthems as well. We've done away with the national anthems at the World Cup events, but of course they're still very much part and parcel of the World Championships, and it's always a very proud moment. I'm saying that, Christina, as though I actually ever won a gold medal, because I haven't, but I'm sure from your experience, when you're hearing your own national anthem and you're stood on the top step of that podium, there don't come much better moments in a bike rider's career or any other athlete's career than that, when you're a world champion and the world is celebrating your home nation.
Yeah, always these moments broke me, yeah? I'm always trying to not cry because I'm so happy, but there's always a part of national anthem when I was singing this because of all my proudness and happiness, I always cried. But these are nice moments so far.
I think you're entitled to shed a tear or two when you have won out in a World Championship, and I'm sure there might be one or two tears shed amongst these strong guys standing on the podium here, because it's a very emotional moment indeed for them. And, well, the smiles will not leave the faces of those riders for quite some time.
Vice President of the Polish Cycling.
So the Vice President of the Polish Cycling Federation will present the prizes, including to the gold medal winners a Tissot watch. Of course, Tissot are presenting partner of these world titles here in Pruszkow this year, as indeed they've been long-time supporters of the World Championships and World Cup, and provide all of our official timing and results at the event as well. So the first prizes being presented here to the Dutch team, sorry, to the Danish team, I should say. Some rather nice flowers, and of course those bronze medals already in place. We'll move on now to the Great Britain team, so to receive the flower presentation. Well, I'm sure there'll be a little hint of disappointment amongst the British team that they weren't able to bring home the gold medal on this occasion, but I'm sure even they were impressed by that incredible pace that the Australians delivered that gold in. That's a new world record time. And it will be flowers for the Australians, along with those Tissot watches as well.
They are really nice. I've collected a few.
Ah,
but,
yes.
yeah, but my boyfriend is always wearing them. It's a nice Tissot watch. On the band there are the rainbow stripes, so yeah, you can wear your own rainbow stripes day by day. So I didn't have now one, but my boyfriend always wearing day by day one.
Okay, it's in safekeeping whilst you're wearing a watch of a different manufacturer at the moment, which we won't mention, because Tissot, of course, are presenting partners, and magnificent watches, as Christina said, and she's got quite a collection to prove it. So the Australians are getting theirs now, and we will then have the moment where we'll celebrate by the playing of the Australian national anthem. The world record holders, world champions, winners of the rainbow jerseys and the gold medals, the team of Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Australia.
And the national anthem of Australia will ring around the hall here in Poland. Advance Australia third, and the gold medals and the world title for Australia. silver medal for Great Britain and the bronze for Denmark. So now many, many rainbow jerseys will have to be signed by the Australian team, one of the obligations that surround the winning of a world title. Those rainbow jerseys, of course, will find their way around the world, I'm quite sure. So more opportunities for our photographers to get some great shots of the riders with the medals. They always like that shot of you biting into the medal just to make sure it's not made of chocolate, don't they? It seems one of the photographers' favourites.
It's one of my favorites, but I never bite in my medal because, it's my baby, you know, and I was thought that I was scared for scratches or something else. So, and from my point, it looks not that good. Oh, look at.
Well, the photographers like it, so let's not deny them their little moments of glory. But the Australians, well, they'll do pretty much anything with them at the moment. So they're going to get back on the podium with those flowers, I think, just to get more photo opportunities. And, of course, those wonderful Tissot watches as well that each of our medal winners, our gold medal winners, take away at the end of their world titles.
So there are little things to do for Australian because of their riding a world record, they have to go to doping control. And a lot of interviews, a lot of science they have to do. It's a long day till they can go into a bed.
And we saw this mascot yesterday. I've not quite worked out what kind of bird it is yet. I did promise our viewing audience that I would try and find out today, but it's actually escaped me. But what do you think that might be? I'm not quite sure what member of the bird family that is, but it's obviously got some significance to Pruszkow. We must find out what it's all about.
Is that a chicken?
Okay, could be a chicken.
Could be a chicken.
Would you get a chicken on the podium? Well, did you ever get a chicken on the podium? No.
How is it spinning when they're in a chicken dinner?
Well, it could be. We did see the Kiwi presentations in the World Cup round in Cambridge with the Buzzy Bees, which is a little symbol of Cambridge. That was rather nice for the riders to receive. And of course the Chinese Dragons were presented for the Hong Kong, the Chinese New Year at the World Cup in Hong Kong. But we will find out for you tomorrow, we promise, exactly what that little cuddly toy bird is all about that the riders receive on the podium. There you see the medal winners signing the rainbow jerseys. There you see the face of the Danish team on the way to that bronze medal. And the celebrations, as Christina said, not just amongst the riders, but also amongst the rest of the team as well. Well, we have another victory ceremony for you coming up for the men's scratch race. We've already seen Sam Welston on the podium with the team pursuit squad. He's going to come back to take his gold medal in the scratch race. And before he goes onto the podium, we will have the opportunity down in track centre to catch a word with him. And, well, he'll be celebrating what has been an incredible day in his racing career. Let's go down and have a chat with our scratch race gold medal winner, Sam Welsford of Australia.
Back to the team pursuit and the scratch event. Where did you find these legs?
Yeah, it's been a crazy half an hour to an hour. I don't know. I just had to be patient and kind of hide for the first half of the race. And then, bide my time and then just hit out with 2 to go and just, hold off and to see how much legs I had at the finish. And, lucky enough, I had enough.
What was the tactics today? I mean, in the scratch final. I mean, we've seen a race quite undecided almost until the last 10 laps.
Yeah, the race was split up from the get-go and had to be patient and kind of, let other riders close the gaps and just keep the bunch moving so it didn't really break apart. And I think I did that pretty well, and then it all came together with 5 or 6 laps to go, and then I just had to move up slowly and, hit out with 2.5 to go and just chase that guy that's at the front and caught him at the end, so I was pretty stoked.
It's been quite an incredible day for Australia so far, with 2 gold out of 2 events. Will it continue, you think?
Yeah, hopefully. I think all of us have really good form, and Australia come here, leading into the games next year with some good form, and just kind of using it as a stepping stone to move up to the Olympics. So really looking forward to the rest of the competition, and I think Australians go pretty well next.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, that sounded pretty straightforward, didn't it? It was an incredible performance it was to back up 2 medals in one day. And we're now going to bring you the victory ceremony for the men's scratch race. So our presentation party just readying themselves at the side of the podium. It's
nice to see the track here from the overview. You see the boxes for every countries, and at the first day, because all the endurance riders there and the sprinters, it's really not much space for you. You just have your chair, put your jacket, your stuff there, and they are just fighting for every centimeter in the box. And as long, and day by day, you get more space because a lot of people are finished with the race, and you can breathe in the box.
Yeah, the first couple of days trying to find somewhere to put your rollers or your turbo trainer is always a challenge. It's a very packed scene down in the track centre. Of course, also includes the media centre as well. And of course, at the World Championships, we've got a sizable number of world media watching the action here as well. So here is our presentation for the men's scratch race.
In third place and winner
to receive the bronze medal, it's Thomas Sexton from New Zealand. Renato Di Rocco, a vice president of the UCI, will be presenting the medals, and of course to Sam Welsford the rainbow jersey as well. Well, Sexton was always there or thereabout, covering every move during the race, and eventually securing himself the bronze medal.
In second place and winner of the silver medal, Roy Efting from the Netherlands.
In contrast, we didn't really see Roy Efting mixing it up until the final stage of the race, but he did it just at the right time and secured himself the silver medal. So another medal for the Netherlands at these world titles.
World champion and winner of the gold medal, Samuel Welsford.
And of course, the man who once again will be on the top step of the podium, this time on his own. He is the world scratch race champion for Australia, Sam Welsford.
Always that moment when you hope that the jersey fit and they give you your size you need it. It's always good to be at the first days a world champion, because I always had a really thin jersey, so an XS or an XXS. So after the women's team pursuit, all the girls used the size. So at the last day there was just medium or small. So.
Yeah, all these things you don't realise when you're watching from afar, but it's great to get this insight from Christina Vogel as to the battle for the right size jerseys as well when you're on the podium. But the man who certainly seems to fit very well indeed, and it looks good, doesn't it, that rainbow jersey, the symbol of a world champion, and the gold medal, of course, to go with it. The presentation of the flowers now taking place for the riders here.
A fun fact. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go on.
A fun fact, in the World Championships 2015 in Paris, I think, they gave me a large junior world jersey. So after the ceremony, they give me the right one. But yeah, it's crazy, huh? That they have a junior world. That's a nice picture I had.
Yeah, I did have the pleasure to do the venue commentary on that occasion, and I do remember you looking interestedly at the jersey when that happened. Here is the national anthem once again of Australia. Go on, Sam, you can smile. There you go. The world champion for the scratch race, Sam Welsford of Australia, and joined on the top step of the podium by silver medalist Roy Efting and bronze medalist Thomas Sexton. There they are. And the Australian team had a great day so far. And of course, they've still got hopes in both the men's Keirin and the women's team pursuit, where of course they'll take on Great Britain in that women's team pursuit final. A repeat of the men's team pursuit final in terms of the nations involved. If the same result will occur, we'll find out. That'll be our last competitive action. Sam just making sure he's got the gold medal the right way round. That's always a good move as well. So they've got the UCI logo proudly displayed on the front. What a great picture that is. That one will go on the mantelpiece and stay there, I imagine, for quite some time.
They're smiling a bit shy, huh?
Yeah.
Aren't they?
A bit reserved, but you know, got to keep other things in mind. But Sam Welsford, of course, second time on the top step of the podium in consecutive victory ceremonies. Not too often that happens in world titles. So a replay of the action in that scratch race final. Sam Welsford will never tire of watching that one back either, because he timed his move to absolute perfection. Cheeky glance over the shoulder, and then the celebrations. Yes, I am the world champion, he says. And there he is. Now replete with the rainbow jersey. And once the obligatory press photos have been taken, he will head down to the jersey signing. There he is.
You never get used to it. So when I'm seeing it, I'm still smiling, because so nice memories you had. I had year by year, ceremony by ceremony. So every medal is so individual, and I think he as well. After the day, he can write story for story, for medal for medal.
I was just wondering how hard you had to concentrate to make sure your signature was the same each time. Can't be easy signing on a jersey. It tends to move about a bit when you're signing it, doesn't it? With that big, thick pen. But as you say, it's one of the things that you take away in your memories as winning a world title, of signing the jerseys. The whole, as you say, there are lots of things to do after it, the press conference, the doping control, but the fact you're now a world champion and you've got the gold medal and the jersey, all that kind of, it becomes easier than it would be under any of the circumstances, doesn't it? The celebrations continue until the next event, doesn't it?
All right. So the first time that I realized I'm a world champion was when I was in my hotel room, and I had a tradition that I always hang my medal anywhere, that when I come in the room I see my results, I see the medal. So yeah, the first moment when you can really breathe and realize what great things happened today.
Yeah, it's a lasting reminder. There is the draw on the Tissot tablet for the men who are going to come to the track here for the minor final in the men's Keirin. This is for places 7 through to 12, so no medals at stake here, but it's a race just like any other, so it's always great to win, even though you're not going to get a medal for your efforts. The riders involved in this, what we call the minor final in the Keirin. Representing Japan will be Yuta Wakimoto from Malaysia, Azil Hasni Owang from the Netherlands, Theo Bos from New Zealand, Edward Dawkins from Poland, Christoph Maxwell, and from Trinidad and Tobago, Kwesi Brown. There is Yuta Wakimoto of Japan. There's Kwesi Brown of Trinidad and Tobago. As we mentioned, he's a former Trinidad and Tobago Keirin champion. Moving down the line, as Theo Bos, 5 times a world champion sprint Keirin kilometre. And there is Ed Dawkins, allowing himself a little smile there, is big Ed Dawkins. I'm sure all the nation of New Zealand back home are on the edge of their seats, hoping that he can put in a great performance in this minor final. The electrically powered Derny is on its way. When the gun fires, which it does now, it will be up to Eddie Dawkins to latch onto the back wheel of that pacing machine. We've actually moved away from the combustion 2-stroke Derny, the traditional Derny that was the mainstay of Keirin pacing for so many years, to electrically powered alternatives, more environmentally responsible, I guess. But it doesn't quite have the little drone that always used to characterise the Keirin. Christina, as a world champion in the Keirin, what do you think about the electrically powered Derny? Has it taken a little bit of the atmosphere away?
Yeah, because when you're standing in the start, you always hear the sound where the Derny is coming closer and closer to you, and you know, okay, now you can pedal and put pressure on your pedal. But in that time, of course, you took a number, but then you were free to choose your position. But otherwise, as long as you are here in the velodrome, the air is dry, and so it's better for the air. Of course,
Yeah,
So,
we like to do our bit for the environment, but of course you also hear the engine note increases, the speed increase as well, and it was all part of the character of the Keirin. But as the Durney leaves the track, moving around the outside here, making the first significant move is Christoph Maxel of Poland. The home crowd will be behind him. Eddie Dawkins in second place here for New Zealand, and Theo Bos, who knows all about how to win a Keirin title, even though he's in the minor final now. But coming around the outside and making a big move over the top is Yuta Wakimoto of Japan. Wakimoto firing down the back straight. He's got a Wang of Malaysia on his wheel. Those have a small advantage ahead of the next rider in line, who is Eddie Dawkins from New Zealand, and then Maxel of Poland. But it is still the Japanese rider taking on the Malaysian, the front of the men's Keirin minor final. Here they come, they're shoulder to shoulder off the final banking and into the finishing straight. A Wang on the outside and Wakimoto on the inside, and it will be victory for Azul Hasni Wang of Malaysia. 7th place for him, just getting the better of Yuta Wakimoto on the line. That was very close. Eddie Dawkins in 3rd place, Christoph Maxel 4th, Theo Bos 5th, and Kwesi Brown 6th. That translates into places 7 through to 12 in the overall standings in the men's Keirin. I'm sure we're going to see a replay of those closing stages. It was very tight indeed between Wang and Wakimoto coming off that final banking, Christina. They were literally inseparable as they came into the finishing straight, but it'd be interesting to see how close the margin was on the line. Here they are coming around the outside. Of course, Wang has got the longer distance to go to the line.
Yeah, but maybe it was too long for the Japanese Wakimoto. He didn't senko, what they were told in Japan. And yeah, Wang had a great place and the back of him. And yeah, he waited as long Wakimoto's speeds are going down and down. Of course, he was two rounds in the front. And yeah, he took the good, but Wang has a warning, so he was better to overtake with more space.
So, confirmation of the result you've just seen on your screen for you in the men's Keirin minor final, but now the more important business of the final for places 1 through to 6, which will, of course, encompass the winning of the gold, silver and bronze medals. For Great Britain, Jack Carlin makes his selection on the tablet that decides the starting order. Moving down the line, we have also got the rider from Japan. Another hope for Japan here. This time it is in the lineup for Japan, Yudai Nita. There is the tall figure of Matthias Buckley making his selection, and Matthew Glaetzer is also draws position. It'll be Buckley who will start on the inside in this one. He'll be obliged to take up position on the wheel of the Durney when the race gets underway. Second in line, Jack Carlin from Great Britain. We'll give you our photo view of the riders from the front as we move down from the top of the track. Yudai Nita of Japan is there alongside him for the great nation of Germany, Stefan Bottiger. That little ritual he goes through, just tapping his chest, waiting for the start of the race for Australia, Matthew Glaetzer. Well, Glaetzer will be hoping for more success for Australia. Is of course the world sprint champion, defending that title in the days to come. Sébastien Viget of France next in line. Then we have got Jack Carlin of Great Britain. He is the silver medalist in the world sprint titles, and also took a silver in the team sprint last year. And also in the Commonwealth Games got the silver medal as well. Matthias Buckley on the inside is the final member within this lineup of 6 riders who have the opportunity to seize the gold medal and the title of world champion. Here comes the Durney now. 6 laps of racing lie between these 6 riders and the title of world champion. Off we go quickly, as he is obliged to do, takes his position on the wheel of the Durney. Jack Carlin of Great Britain in second place. Then it's Sébastien Viget of France, Matthew Glaetzer of Australia. Behind Glaetzer is Stefan Bottiger of Germany, and bringing up the rear is Yudai Nita of Japan. The pace of the Durney will gradually increase from 30 kilometers per hour at the start. When it leaves the track with 3 laps to go, it'll be travelling at 50 kilometers per hour. So too will the riders, and then 3 laps of straight out sprinting. Christina, want to put your reputation on the line here and maybe think who might be a winner of this one at this early part of the final?
Yeah, I hope for me as a German that Stefan Butticher will do it, but we had a difficult situation. We have the Dutch rider in the front. Matthias Büchli, he lost to go Senko really gas, but Matthew Gletzer have to go in the front quite early because otherwise it would be too fast and it would be hard to go in the front. And
well, the Dernies left the track, and it is Jack Cullen of Great Britain who's taken up the lead here, but Gleitzer, as Christina predicted, is making a move from midfield. Gleitzer coming around the outside. Matthew Gleitzer from Australia, the world sprint champion at the moment, is on the front, now being pursued by Stefan Botticher of Germany. Jack Cullen of Great Britain is in the box at the bottom of the track. Behind him is Stefan Botticher coming around the outside here. Matthias Buckley now begins to make his move. Botticher in the lead position here with 1 lap to go. Matthias Buckley, but being challenged hard here by the Netherlands. Coming around the outside is Matthias Buckley of the Netherlands. He's got the lead position now. Here comes Yudai Nita of Japan coming on towards the finish line. The Dutch are already celebrating. Is it too early? No, it's not. Lifting his wheel in characteristic style across the finish line. Matthias Buckley of the Netherlands takes the world Keirin title from Yudai Nita of Japan in second place, and Germany in third place for Stefan Botticher. Well, we'll see a replay of that final run to the line, but I think that was a very well-timed move indeed, Christina, from Matthias Buckley. He came from midfield, let the other riders put their challenge in, and then he came around the outside and powered to victory and the world title.
Yeah, we see Love and Reason is good for trying in the middle of the track. But yeah, it was very well. He was in the front. He let Matthew Gletzer overtake him because it was quite too early. And then we see that Stefan Butticher was over the top and not on the black line. And yeah, he had to go on the front, and it was quite too early for him. And that gives Matthias the best position to overtake. And yeah, and to make here the gold medal at the end. But so far, Mimi is German, I'm sorry. I'm really proud for Stefan because after his long break with illness, injuries, it's good to see him on the step. And it's so far good to see what Wenaru do in Japan.
Good challenge here from Yudai Nita of Japan, as you say. Here he's coming challenging hard, but finished in second place in the silver medal. And I think that's well deserved. He put in a very good ride indeed. But there you see the side view across the line, the advantage just more than a wheel ahead for our new world champion from the Netherlands, Matthias Buckley, the world Keirin champion. Christina pointed out his girlfriend already getting emotional in the track centre, as well she might, and he too, I'm sure, will be wiping away the odd tear and just breathing hard as well. That was a really hard-fought race, but when you convert it into victory and the world title, the exertion you've just gone through all just is put to the back of your mind, and the celebrations that are about to take place become foremost in your consideration. And there he is, the world champion. I'm just going to do the lap, he says, just to reinforce the fact that I'm the world champion. If he can find a Dutch flag, I'm sure he will be presented with one of those as well, as is kind of the tradition these days at the end of a world title. There is confirmation of that world title. Matthias Buckley of the Netherlands from Yudai Nita of Japan and Stefan Botticher of Germany.
Yeah, we see him cheering and enjoying the moments on the track. There's no flag for him, huh?
No, I'm having confidently predicted that there's always a flag available when you need it. Surprisingly, the Dutch, who have come here in great force and have got all kinds of interesting outfits, headgear and T-shirts, seem to have misplaced the Netherlands flag at the moment. So, unfortunately, Matthias Buckley not able to parade around the track with that. However, he is standing in front of what is predominantly the Dutch contingent here in the crowd. And a sea of orange erupts here to celebrate the world title for the man here, and he acknowledges that applause as well he might, and the whole of the crowd here applauding. Always great to see a new world title taken, and Matthias Buckley is our new world champion for the men's Keirin. So he'll depart to get himself ready for the podium presentation, which will be coming up a little bit later. And all too soon, on what has been a great evening's racing, I hope you will agree, we have come to our final competitive action on the track. 2 finals in the women's team pursuit. The first is the final for the bronze medal. riders involved in this one. You can see already at trackside getting themselves prepared for the task in hand. It's Canada versus New Zealand for the bronze medal. And of course the gold and silver medal final will be contested between Australia and Great Britain, which of course is a mirror image of the men's team pursuit final a little bit earlier in the day, on which occasion Australia came out the winners. So, well, you know, maybe it's Great Britain's turn this time. We'll find out very shortly, but first of all, it is the task of these riders to try and secure a bronze medal. Little ritual being played out there by the Canadian team. How important is it in team building when you have the little ritual you go through? You see quite a lot of riders doing it, whether it's a high five or that little thing just seen from the Canadians. Just that last moment before the pressure of the start, just have that little bit of final bit of bonding between the team. It's nice, isn't it?
It is nice because the important thing is in team disciplines that you win together and lose together, and of course you have to be, you know, each opposition have to be as good as it's any possible for you, but at the end they have to work for you as a team. And yeah, when they need some claps or some spellings or I don't know, kisses or sharing some things before music or headphones, what else? That makes these special moments for them.
It does indeed. So here are the riders lined up for this bronze medal final. Canada represented by Alison Beveridge, Ariane Bonhomme, Annie Foreman-McKay and Georgia Simmerling. And New Zealand, Bryony Bota, Michaela Drummond, Holly Edmondson and Kirsty James. The winner will take away the bronze medal. We are set for 16 laps of team pursuit action in the women's team pursuit bronze medal final. So we're off and running as the riders depart from the start line. The team of Canada, good World Cup campaign for them. They were second in the team pursuit in Cambridge, New Zealand, at the beginning of the year. And of course, it is the New Zealand team they're facing now who were the winners on that occasion in what was a whole night of medal winning for the home nation of New Zealand in Cambridge just a month and a bit ago. So a replay of that World Cup final here with Canada taking an early lead by 0.258 of a second over New Zealand. Very early stages, of course, at the moment. You see the face of concentration on the face of the riders from New Zealand here. Remember, it's the third rider to cross the line at the conclusion of the ride who will record the time. Great Britain, the holds the world record in this in 4:10.236, posting that in the Olympics in Rio back in 2016. To get into this final, the time for Canada when they rode against Belgium, 4:17.577, and the time recorded by New Zealand, who were just beaten by Great Britain in their final, 4:17.980. So on that form, starting favourites just would be the team of Canada. Just 0.3 of a second separated them in that qualification round. We are through the first kilometre checkpoint, and it shows New Zealand are ahead, 1:08.728. For New Zealand and 1:08.954, a demonstration of how close this bronze medal final might just be. 0.8 of a second still in favour of the Kiwis at the moment. Still all four riders going for each team. Of course, it's a proof of how important the World Cup events are in preparation for the World Championships, and that these teams were involved in team pursuit action earlier in the World Cup campaign. So the opportunity to develop the team you're going to bring to the World Championships, and of course ultimately into the Olympic Games as well. It's always at the forefront of teams' minds that the Olympic cycle is progressing very rapidly indeed. Tokyo next year for the Olympic Games. So these World Championships, the penultimate world titles before those Olympics. And at the moment it is still an advantage for New Zealand at the halfway point. 2:10.558 for New Zealand and 2:11.811. So the gap is broadening here for New Zealand. Do you think Christina Canada holding back a little bit for the second half of this one, or New Zealand set off with the intention of taking this one and winning from literally with the fastest pace from the start?
From our point of view, we see the coach of the New Zealand girls, and they are quite a bit faster than they planned, and we'll see is it too fast or not. But they're going a good way at the moment.
Yeah, almost 3 seconds the advantage for New Zealand, as Christina quite rightly says. The thing about going off quickly is if you're ahead of your schedule, you need to make sure that you've still got the strength in the legs at the end of the ride to deliver that final run to the line. Remember, the time is taken on the third rider to cross the line. So you can't afford to let the gaps open. That's what the Canadians did at the moment. They've lost their fourth rider, and the third rider is struggling to get back on with the other three. The other two, she has done that now. So the ship has been steadied a little bit by the Canadians, but they're still considerably behind the pace required here. That rider just fighting her way back on for Canada was Georgia Simmerling. The riders who have dropped out here for the New Zealand team and also for Canada as well. So both teams down to 3 riders here in this battle for the bronze medal in the women's team pursuit finals. 3:15.727 for Canada, but 3:13.132 for New Zealand as they enter the back straight. They see the back of the Canadian team at the other end, and that's an indication of how far ahead you are now. So this is looking good for a bronze medal for New Zealand as they come through. The remaining 3 members of the team, Holly Edmondson, Michaela Drummond and Bryony Bota, are lining up for the finish, and the securing of the bronze medal. It is New Zealand who overcome Canada. Well, the New Zealanders were ahead of the pace. They delivered a really fast ride and they brought it right through to the conclusion. They dropped Kirsty James with a couple of laps to go. But they brought home the bronze for New Zealand, 4:16.479 the time for New Zealand, and the time recorded by Canada, 4:23.27. So the coach very pleased indeed for New Zealand. The nation of New Zealand, as I said a little bit earlier, will doubtless be celebrating as well. A world medal was definitely their intention when we were at the World Cup in Cambridge in New Zealand earlier in the year, and that's exactly what they've delivered here. It was a well-controlled ride, Christina. They, as you said, they were ahead of the schedule, as you noted, but they brought it right through to the end and finished with a good time.
Definitely, and you see how important it is to have a really good technique while changes, because when you had in this speed and in this time of the race and bad change, you could lose the wheel, and then you are just 2 or just 3. So it could win you your medal ride, you know. And so it's important when you have slow legs and you fight for every second, every meter, that the technique while changes are really, really good.
Well, good technique from New Zealand secures them the bronze medal, and we turn our attentions to the gold and silver medal final. And if you were with us early in the evening when we saw the women's team pursuit final, don't worry that we've got the on-screen graphics from that one, because it is exactly the same nations involved in the women's team pursuit final as well. Australia versus Great Britain for the women's team pursuit. Let us introduce the riders involved in this final for you. There is the team of Australia: Annette Edmondson, Ashley Ankudinov, Georgia Baker and Amy Cure. There is the team of Great Britain: Katie Archibald, just clapping her hands together. Alongside her is Laura Kenny. We have Eleanor Dickinson and, of course, Eleanor Barker, already the scratch race champion here last night. So they are also the world record holders, 4:10.236. Was the time they recorded at the Olympic Games to become the Olympic team on that occasion, and also the holders of the world record, which still stands. Will we see a world record fall? We saw the Australians beat it in the men's team pursuit final. Well, Katie Archibald, she almost always has a smile on her face, and she always seems very, very casual indeed, but she's a consummate athlete, and she excels on road and track equally. Of course, she is a team pursuit champion. She is an Omnium champion in the world. She rides well in the Madison. She's a Madison champion. And Katie Archibald, Christina, is one of those riders who, whatever form of racing it is, seems to excel, and sometimes makes it look very easy, but she's a multiple world champion and one of the strong members of this Great Britain squad here.
When you're good, it always looks easy, huh? So she's a crazy girl. I love her. She's always so pleased and so welcome, and also friendly in the boxes. And yeah, she with her crazy colored hairs always, huh?
Yeah, she's always got a new hair colour. We'll be interesting to see with the helmet removed later. There she is, focused now. Of course, there is no fun and games now. It is all very serious indeed. The gold medal is at stake. She will be the lead rider away here for Great Britain. Just alongside her is Laura Kenny, and already, of course, medal success for Great Britain last night with Eleanor Barker in the scratch race final. We'll be hoping to add another here. Great Britain versus Australia. Australia were faster in the preceding round. They overcame the challenge of the team they met at that point in the competition, Italy. A little faster than Great Britain in the previous round of the competition, but all that will be set aside now. It's all about the time you record in the gold medal final that determines your fate. And both teams clearly away. A little bit faster start here for Australia, 0.349 of a second ahead after the first 375 metres. Once again, an on-camera view from Eleanor Barker's bike of the British team. You can see if you always thought that these tracks were very, very flat and very smooth, you see the handlebar just bouncing up a little bit down, down a bit, and also the camera on the saddle as well. So you do feel the movements of the track and the geometry of the track. That, of course, it varies between tracks around the world. They all have different geometries and different ways of riding. No two tracks are quite the same. But at the moment, it is still the advantage just at the moment for Australia by 0.605 of a second. Great Britain make the changes that go into the back straight. Australia come around here, 0.5 a second, being held consistently at that differential with just Australia just ahead, 1:07.579 for Australia at the end of the opening kilometre, 1:08.156 for Great Britain. If you glance across the track, you can see that graphic example of the difference, but Great Britain are well known for building the pace towards the end of the race. The Australians, of course, though, very strong challengers indeed. They'll, of course, be buoyed by 2 gold medals already for Australia this evening. And if they can add another one, well, the celebrations definitely will be continuing all night long in the Australian camp. But the work cut out as Great Britain begin to close them down a little, 0.493 as we head towards the halfway point here. It'll be interesting to see the time splits at the completion of the second kilometre. Great Britain, who started slower, are visibly gaining a little more ground on their opponents here now. Once again, we go on board with Eleanor Dickinson looking back at the line of riders. Still both teams with all 4 riders here at the halfway mark. It is still advantage Australia, 2:08.719. Great Britain, 2:09.270. Still less than a second separating these two teams. Well, we've been looking forward to this final of Christina all evening, but it's very close indeed, and I think it's going to go right down to the wire, this one.
It's very close. Hopefully, all the girls could keep a 4-man team, huh? Both have a 4-man girls team, so they're really close, and 0.4 seconds could be just one big change.
Yeah, Great Britain, of course, finished all 4 riders in the previous heat. And, well, the time is taken on the 3rd rider across the line, but if you've still got the 4th rider contributing the pace right up to the end of the final, that certainly can play to your advantage. Looking down on the track, still 0.5 of a second is the advantage for Australia. They've led right from the gun here, and Great Britain need to start closing that gap down now. We're heading towards the completion of the 3rd kilometre, and Australia are through the first in 3:10.732. Great Britain in 3:11.513, 0.781 of a second. Great Britain down to 3 riders, so too are Australia. The rider who has dropped out of the line for Great Britain is Eleanor Barker, and for Australia, here they come now. They are still ahead, 0.937. So Australia are beginning to turn the screw here a little bit. They have dropped the rider from their lineup, Ashley Ann Kudinov, leaving Edmondson, Baker and Cure for Australia. Little gap though between the first rider and the other 2 for Australia. Great Britain still a well-drilled outfit, but they've got a 0.750 deficit still to close down on the team of Australia. And again, a little bit of a gap towards the back here as Katie Archibald struggles to get back onto the wheel. They make their change to the back straight. Again, the leading rider for Australia is powering along with the other 2 just behind them. That's Amy Cure on the front for Australia. Remember, the time is taken on the 3rd rider across the line. And as we come towards the conclusion of this ride, it's going to be very close indeed, 0.495 of the midway point of the final lap. And on the line, I think it's going to go to Australia again. Great Britain close the gap, but not quickly enough. And by a big enough margin, because Australia are proving dominant on day 2 of the World Track Cycling Championships presented by Tissot, because once again they have taken the gold medals and they begin the celebrations once again. Annette Edmondson, Ashley Ankudinov, Georgia Baker and Amy Cure are the new world champions for the women's team pursuit. There's the Australian camp. Hardly believe the luck here this evening. Well, it's not luck, it's great riding as well, of course. And Great Britain once again having to settle for second best in a team pursuit final. This time the women in 4:14.537, Australia in 4:14.333. We said it would be close, and it was 0.2 of a second on the line in favour of Australia.
You see how the Australian handles a half lap to go. That girl in the front was too fast for a second, and you see how they react, how they try to beat together and bring it to the finish line. It's like a reacting from world champions, huh, so far.
Yeah, it was a very well-fought women's team pursuit final, worthy of a World Championships. You can see the face of Katie Archibald. So silver for her and the Great Britain squad once again for the women's team pursuit, as Australia continue their dominant performance here. So that's the men's team pursuit, the women's team pursuit and the men's scratch race, taken by the team of Australia this evening. I'm sure there's going to be some Australian flags produced. Oh, there they are. It's almost as a little storage box down at the side of the track. We just put them in just on the off chance they might need them. As the celebrations, as family and friends congratulate the riders. Always a great moment at the end of a ride and a World Championship to be able to be greeted by friends from far across the world, of course, travelling here to Poland to support their team. And there you can see the full result of the women's team pursuit. Australia are the gold medal winners and world champions. Great Britain second for the silver, and New Zealand in third place for the bronze medal.
So you see, it's everything for the points. Of course, the lucky three first teams, they can reach a medal or can win the medal and celebrate the medal, but the other positions, it's all about points for the qualification for Olympic Games. So it's still half-time, still a year to go, one World Championships and a few World Cups to go, but every competition you have to be as good as possible to get these points to go to Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020.
Well, just getting the runaway hair sorted out, ready for the upcoming podium presentation and the photographs. And it seems, Christina, that the talk about the Olympic cycle, it almost as soon as one Olympic Games is finished, you start thinking about the next one. Is that the reality in the teams and in the camp? It's all about, ultimately, the Olympic Games and getting yourself into that for the chance of taking an Olympic medal.
The first year after Olympic Games, it's more to breathe, to relax. You trying out new things because you have to change your training system year by year. As long you're changing, you going forward and you progress and your shape's getting bigger. When you stop and train the same thing, you never go faster.
Yeah, absolutely right. And let us go down to the track centre and hear from the medal winner from our upcoming presentation ceremony for the men's Keirin. Let's take you down live to the track centre.
Very emotional on the track after this victory.
Yeah, it's. I'm so happy. It's hard to express yourself when you win such a big thing, and it made me incredibly happy, and it was amazing. Yeah.
You won back-to-back the team event and today the individual sprint. How important it is to win a team event before an individual event like today for you, mentally speaking?
Well, I think mentally it was perfect. It's nice to win the world title and it gives you power. On the other hand, physically, I was so tired after yesterday. The guys did incredible times before me and I had to follow them. So it was extremely hard and I'm happy I have good legs for 2 days.
We've seen you very well positioned today in the group. You were in the middle waiting the right time to overtake the others.
Yeah, normally I would go myself a bit earlier and take the lead, but I knew I really only wanted to win, and this time I thought my tactic would be better to wait some longer.
And you've been very well celebrated today. You just told us that you had the king on the phone just before this interview.
Yeah, it's very nice he called. Yeah, amazing.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you.
So very pleased rider from the Netherlands, world champion in the men's Keirin, and Matthias Buckley. Time for him to receive the medal.
UCI Track Cycling World Championship
So this is our medal ceremony for the men's Keirin. Presentation party making its way towards the stage here, right in the centre of the Pruszkow arena. The UCI anthem that brings the riders onto the stage. Stefan Bottiger leading them on. Champion in the middle, and silver medalist Yudai Nita flying the flag for Japan in the Keirin. Nice to see the rainbow bands around the top step of the podium as well. Nice little touch there. And once again, it'll be Tony Kirsch, a member of the UCI Management Committee, who will be the presenter of the medals and the jerseys.
In third place and winner
and we begin with the presentation of the bronze medal. Stefan Bottiger of Germany is the bronze medalist in the men's Keirin. Medal placed around the neck. He's pretty pleased with that, I reckon.
In second place,
as well he might be. Silver medal going the way of Japan and Yudai Nita.
Zdobywcą drugiego miejsca i srebrnego medalu jest Yudai Nita, Japonia.
So the nation who pretty much invented Keirin racing have a silver medal in the world titles.
World champion and winner of the gold medal, Matthijs Buckley from the Netherlands.
And your gold medal winner and world champion for the Netherlands, Matthijs Buckley. So the rainbow jersey.
And to speak from my own, it's always nice to start in the competition with the really first good day. So starting these track worlds with the first world title in team sprint. So it's like you're flying from day to day. So it helps a lot.
Yeah, inspiration of taking a medal leads to more, and that's certainly proven the case for Matthijs Buckley. Once again, the presentation of the prizes, including the Tissot watch for the world champion. Minister of Sport and Tourism here in Poland will be presenting the prizes here. Flowers and the mascot as well. For, first of all, Stefan Bottiger and Yudai Nita. Always polite bow from the Japanese riders, and of course the flowers and the Tissot watch for your new world champion in the men's Keirin from the Netherlands, Matthijs Buckley. It's now time for the national anthem of the Netherlands. So the Dutch contingent here in the crowd, more celebrations for them. Matthijs Buckley, the world Keirin champion for the men's Keirin. Nice shot of all three on the top step of the podium, as is tradition. Except for the team pursuit, it was a bit difficult to get 12 riders on the top step of the podium, but pretty much every other championship we have them all gather on the top step of the podium just to congratulate each other and celebrate a great performance. And with one or two exceptions, when they're not in competition, most riders have respect and a great deal of friendship quite often for their competitors as well. There's a nice atmosphere usually in the track centre when you've got a few moments just to relax and you're not in the white heat of competition.
Of course, that was nice to see here from the overview. When there's national anthem, all the athletes not continuing their preparation for the next competition. So they're stepping off the rollers, standing up and give the respect for the persons out here on the top on the podium.
Absolutely, and it's nice to see. So here is a little recap of the start of that men's Keirin final. Here is Stefan Bottiger, challenged hard by Yudai Nitta of Japan, and also by Stefan Bottiger of Germany. But there was only one winner on the line, and that was Matthias Buckley, the world champion for the men's Keirin. Look at that face, yes. Quite a vocal celebration, I think, from Matthias Buckley. And that will definitely live long in the memory. So we're going to take you back down to track centre for more interviews. We're going to bring you the women's team pursuit victory ceremony very shortly, and here are the victorious Australian team.
Alex, congratulations. This is your birthday today. That couldn't be a better gift with this victory.
Yeah, definitely. The girls got me chocolates this morning, but I said to them before they went up, I want something a bit more than that, and they delivered for me.
You did a brilliant performance today. I mean, we knew that the British team is building the pace towards the end. How did you cope with that?
Yeah, look, I think we put 3 really strong rides together, but credit to Great Britain, they really put up to us. And yeah, we're just so happy to be where we're world champions, and we worked really hard for this.
This is definitely day 2 for Australia today. I mean, how can you explain these brilliant performances from all you riders?
Yeah, I think we've just got a great team vibe at the moment. Everyone's really positive, everyone's relaxed coming in, and yeah, we're all in a great mental space. So when you see your teammates doing so well, it really inspires us to do the same. So yeah, we gave it all we could out there, and we're really happy to be in the Rainbows.
How important is this title today ahead of the Olympics 1 year before Tokyo 2020?
Yeah, it's certainly a stepping stone. Some of the girls have said that we've worked hard for this, so this is just the start, hopefully, and we'll look to build over the next year and aim for Tokyo.
I mean, you're probably one of the most experienced here. What's your feeling with this title today, which is not definitely the first one?
Yeah, look, it's really great. We've for so many years, you know, we've been out there giving it everything and not quite got on the top podium, so it means so much. You know, it's been a hard year, and it's been great to be able to deliver this now, and it's so special to do it and do it with all these strong girls.
Definitely brilliant. Thank you very much, ladies. Congratulations. Thank you.
So there you heard it, and more celebrations for Australia. This is the award ceremony for the women's team pursuit. So the riders forming up. The celebration party will make its way onto the stage here, accompanied by the anthem of the UCI. Our final victory ceremony of the evening, the women's team pursuit. Katie Archibald, bit of green, bit of purple going on there, Christina. And she, of course, member of that silver medal winning team from Great Britain. New Zealand with the bronze, they'll be first to receive their prize, of course.
The UCI World Champion jersey will be presented by Renato Di Rocco.
Renato Di Rocco, a UCI Vice President, will be the presenter of the medals and the jerseys.
In third place,
accompanied by Janusz Pozak from the Polish Cycling Federation, will present the prizes. So the first medals are the bronze medals for New Zealand: Michaela Drummond, Bryony Bota, Holly Edmondson, Kirsty James and Rushley Buchanan.
Michaela Drummond, Bryony Bota, Holly Edmondson i Kirsty James, Nova Zelandia.
So all 5 riders who took part in the rounds of that women's team pursuit receiving the bronze medals on the podium for New Zealand. Second place, the team of Great Britain, represented by Eleanor Dickinson, Eleanor Barker, Laura Kenny and Katie Archibald. The team of Great Britain, the winners of the silver medal.
Laura Kenny, Katie Archibald, Eleanor Barker and Eleanor Dickinson. Wielka Britannia.
It is nice that every girl get the medal, because it was changing ages before. It was that you have to ride the final or 2 heats, then you are allowed to go on the podium. But from heat to heat, it's a team effort. So it's good that every girls get their medal.
I completely agree with you. It all seemed very unfair that if you'd ridden as part of the team and then you didn't get a medal. So, yep, that's definitely an improvement. And now to receive the gold medals, the team of Australia: Annette Edmondson, Ashley Ann Kudinov, Georgia Baker, Amy Cure and Alexandra Manley. The world champions in the women's team pursuit are Australia.
Baker, Amy Cure, Alexandra Manley, Australia.
So those rainbow jerseys sitting very nicely indeed on the shoulders of the Australian women's team pursuit squad. Shortly to be added are the gold medals.
The prizes, including a watch provided by Tissot, will be presented by Janusz Pozak, President of the Polish Cycling Federation.
Mr. Janusz Pozak, the President of the Polish Cycling Federation, will present the prizes, including, of course, the Tissot watches for the gold medalists. These 2019 UCI Track Cycling World Championships presented by Tissot. Well, some happy New Zealand faces there. Pleased with that bronze medal, I think. And Great Britain, well, exchanging some banter with the Australians there as they take the silver medals. And the final prizes, the flowers, and of course the Tissot watches for our world champions Annette Edmondson, Ashley Ann Kudinov, Georgia Baker, Amy Cure and Alexandra Manley from Australia. A little bit of well-coordinated repositioning there to make sure the prize presentation goes nice and smoothly. And once they're all complete with flowers, watches, rainbow jerseys and gold medals, it will be time once again to listen to the national anthem of Australia to celebrate another World Championship.
The national anthem of Australia.
Panie I panowie, prosimy o powstanie hymn Australii.
So the final medal ceremony presentation of the day for the women's team pursuit. Gold for Australia, silver for Great Britain, and bronze for New Zealand.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the evening session on this second day of the UCI.
So that rounds off day 2 of these 2019 UCI Track Cycling World Championships presented by Tissot. More action, of course, to come tomorrow on day 3. I'll tell you more about that in a few moments' time. Also review the medal standings at the end of this second day. Chance to look back at one or two of the key moments as well. And they will predominantly feature Australia, I have to say. 3 gold medals during the course of competition today. The New Zealand team on the way to the bronze medal, overcoming Canada. Great Britain challenged hard, but not quite able to overturn Australia's dominance of the gold medal final. And the 3rd gold medal and the 3rd World Championship of the day went the way of Australia. World champions of both the men's and the women's team pursuit, to add to the men's scratch race title as well. Obligatory flag bearing and the celebratory laps. What has been a great day. Little kiss on the cheek as well. Very nice.
Such a nice day, huh? So far, such an incredible second day here of the Track World Championships sponsored by Tissot. Great things to come tomorrow, huh?
I'm sure, yeah. We'll have a little caption to tell you what you can look forward to when you join us for our live coverage tomorrow. We'll bring you the evening session of racing once again, live for you, here from the Arena Pruszkow, just on the outskirts of Warsaw here in Poland. The jersey signing for the Australian women team pursuiters is well underway here. Quite a few jerseys required for all the riders to sign. So that will continue. So let us look back at what has been a day dominated by Australia. And we bring you the current medal standings at the end of day 2 of these UCI Track Cycling World Championships presented by Tissot. Australia, 4 medals, and look at that, all 4 of them are gold. Netherlands also with 4 medals, 2 gold, 2 silver. Great Britain 3rd with a gold and 2 silvers, and so on down the standings. But that medal table reflecting, after 7 of the 20 events that make up these world titles, how dominant Australia have been on the first 2 days of this competition. Russian Federation in 4th, France 5th, and Japan joint 5th place. So 1 silver medal each for those teams. So that brings to an end our second day of competition here. It's been my absolute pleasure to have Christina Vogel alongside me. I hope she's going to come back tomorrow. She is nodding. Christina, have you enjoyed it here in the commentary box?
Yeah, we'll come tomorrow. There's a sprint final, huh? So, and I had a bet with Stephanie Martin, so I have to be here on my seat.
We wouldn't want to miss that. Thank you indeed for your expert insight today. We're looking forward to tomorrow already. But until then, from Christina Vogel and myself, Carl Lawrenson, we'll bid you a very good evening from here in Pruszkow. Goodbye.
Goodbye.